Ta-da! Again, I will admit, stream started late today. Usually we're here at 5 to 7, and this time we're only hitting it like 2 minutes to 7? Good God, what has happened to me today? Nothing terrible, I just didn't sleep incredibly well. And look, the chat box is up, and the Jimbles' hair is out. That's so soft and pretty. Not just because I spent ages scrubbing it. Yes, hello to the VOD. A subscribe from Maker? Thank you so much. I feel blessed. Now you may be able to access the VOD longer, I think? I'm not sure. I gotta check that. I believe hitting affiliate makes your VODs last longer as well. That's pretty good. Oh no, I'm sorry. Capitalism won and convinced you to to buy something because of ads. Even if it was by the stop advertising at me. That's a success in their books, which is depressing. Another depressing thing is I looked at the calendar and made certain of the fact that there are no public holidays in ACT until Christmas. And December 24th is a Friday, so we're almost certainly working on Christmas Eve. And that means, well, look, I love the atmosphere in offices where literally no one is working at all. As long as there's not a jerk wandering around saying, hey, you gotta work. Like, no. It's kind of funny when you have that many people who are pretending to be appropriate and failing. Even though I don't like work Christmas parties, which are a lot of people pretending to be appropriate or not being, and then just being jerks at one another. Work from home? Good call, Maker. I approve. The office pretend to work day. Yeah, I love those. Day before Good Friday is a good one for that too. Literally no one's here. I like that for an entire week. I can say, yeah, because we have a 5-day weekend. Thanks, Jesus. And that's not massive, you know. I don't really think we set out the calendar to give these days of celebration off, and that's good. Days of that labor are fantastic, but I kind of wish that we could recognize other faiths' religious days as days without work, days without labor. Yeah, exactly, Hendo. Get some people wandering around, important people. Just say, it's fine, son, you wander home, okay? Then you fuck off. Every holiday should be a day without labor. Yeah, love it. Especially when some jerks like, oh, what about this holiday for this faith that I have no idea of? I'm like, that isn't popular. Like, yeah, absolutely. There should also be days without labor. The more days without labor we have, the better. It's better for us all. Rest is amazing, and we don't get nearly enough of it. I don't just mean sleep. I mean rest. Um, yeah, Mako. You know, like non-holidays, Labor Day is explicitly public holidays in many Australian states. That's good. Very rarely does it come up that explains why, what it's about. Um, Potentially because it's hard to get managers to sign off on an all-staff communication that says, when you get together and collectively bargain for something, you can get a paid day off. Not the contractors, though. Quietly shift more of the workforce into contractors. Hey, congrats, Hendo. That's fantastic. I look forward to cramming some work into Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then giving up by about Thursday midday and saying, fuck it. I'm not going to do much on Friday anyway. Those are fantastic days. Casualization contract, it's just cheaper if you don't pay benefits in any way. It sucks. Sucks. What are we going to do? I don't know, start a fire. Not where anyone can see. And I mean a fire in Minecraft, of course. Hey, I'm a Twitch affiliate. I need to behave, don't I? Right? I can't just tell all of you to start fires in Minecraft. As funny as that is. Yeah. Well, let's play a video game for a bit, huh? I'm going to hit the live stream button. And whoop, I'm now in the top left corner. And whoop, you may have some game audio. It's moderately quiet background music for now. And hopefully that's pretty good. Let's click the continue button and continue, shall we? Oh. So, last week... Oh yeah, first off, we're going to hit back to chatting because you should have the larger camera for this. Look at my cool shirt. Yeah, that's all. I think I crashed pillars because I alt-tabbed while it was loading. Which is very embarrassing. Because I was just too excited to show you my shirt. So I killed pillars. You have a black screen. Yeah, cool. You saw it just finish loading and then display in OBS and then notice that I told it to quit. Whoops. And notice me. That's the spirit. Okay, so now not to alt-tab. While it's loading. Pillars of Eternity moral decisions, more grinding than capitalism. Yeah, and sometimes the decisions involve capitalism too, just to make everything better? Ah, yes, that's right. Last episode, we investigated a more new area. We found what, in fact, the eyeless are and what army is coming to kill us all. And then we were not a dick to a child by offering it a cookie and then dropping the cookie beneath our feet and crushing it underneath our heel, which, hilarious as it may be, is not the appropriate way to get a child not eaten by a bunch of wicks. Thankfully, we survived that encounter. Requires 80 focus, creates blades of pure energy that emerge from both hands. Do raw damage and create focus for the Cypher who created them. So, you actually cast this on an ally, you don't pull out Reaping Knives yourself. Reaping Knives, 30% of damage, doubles focused, 2 caster. They are daggers, so what you can do is cast Reaping Knives. Oh, you get both spells this level, it's fantastic. Defensive Mind Web, all allies use the best defense of anyone in the web. Use Reaping Knives on Devil of Korok. Devil of Korok uses her knife specialties and generates focus for Grieving Mother. Mwah, just gorgeous, beautiful. Oh yeah, Slam's ridiculous hat. Remember that? I do. What the fuck? You can't upgrade law yet, so we'll just wait. Mercy and kindness followed where she walked. All allies here receive more endurance and healing effects. That's pretty good as a phrase if you put it early, because remember Slam's got that passive give extra endurance just when he's chanting anything. That's pretty good. It lasts 7 and lingers 9. That's very good. Or Accuracy and damage against all enemies of the beast type? No. With all your strength slay the beast. No. Mercy and kindness. You deliberately forgot about the awful hat. You wanted to forget about the awful hat. You tried to get away from the awful hat. Hits to crits. Grazes are converted to misses on attacks. It's pretty good she was taking lots of damage, but I think she's doing okay. Also deal raw damage over time. Rogue abilities, and there are so many of them, are all really good. Whenever the rogue is contributing to a flank deflection, they're also distracted. Just lowers all defenses by 6. The mechanics are quite complex, and I've never put that much effort into understanding them because I'm not a very technical player. This one's hilarious. Pretend to die, regen endurance over time. Shadow Slip's pretty useful too. Get extra damage and teleport. We'll do that because often Devil of Karok is stuck behind people. Because we're fighting in corridors. Ooh, a fine dagger. Touch. These tin hats. Alright, let's get out of here. I'm glad we could rescue the small child, you know? I like that particular quest because it's like, okay, go talk to people about town. They're kind of grumpy a lot of the time, but I don't know, some of the meaner quests in Pillars are like, alright, you'll turn up there and she's already dead. And I mean, they got a point, but that's not super nice, is it? Here, we turned up to Hattie's house, she's already dead. Oh, that was no fun. Oh well. But here, we turn up to the cave and everything's like we can save the small child. We can even save the small child without having to fight all of her friends and kill them, making her sad. We're good. Not much need to report. Good job, Adair. Okay, we're going to drop by Stalwart just to turn in a bounty quest, because we can. First time chat from viewer. Oh, amazing. It is a shame that you are, in fact, a spam bot. I'll tab while I was loading again, but it wasn't that bad. Like, we'll see if it crashes, but it probably won't. Here you go. Gator successfully rounded up her test subjects. Good job. Adair, you made it. We're going to pull Adair back into our party, which means we're going to need to lose one of our DPS. And while I love Sagani, Sagani's doing so much damage. It's going to be hard to say. And I want to take Maneha to the Abbey. We might need to put Grieving Mother aside for a bit. Oh, there you go. Terror of Whitestone Hollow has been dealt with. Good to know this one's been taken care of. Shame we lost all these people, but at least we'll finally be able to get some workers out there to clear up all that avalanche. Here's your reward, as promised. I'm here to collect on Roadworth's bounty. That's a relief. Even if they were headed for Stalwart, they didn't want to take the chance. They were very far south, too. Here's your reward, as promised. Had some new reports coming. Thought you might be interested. Hoped, anyway. So a group of Lagerfeth causing trouble in Whitestone Hollow. Like the avalanche wasn't bad enough, right? There's a pirate, Brunlod, that the Fangs want dead. Last stop is Laughter, a thief who left Stalwart and has recently been spotted in the port district, Defiance Bay. Take on the Lagerfeth, and a little nickname for themselves, Redwater Lagerfeth, on account of these little charmers drag their prey under the water. They turned up in Whitestone Hollow recently, been menacing the locals, planning a coin in it for the one that takes them out. But tell me more about this pirate, Brynlord. A cipher, the Dreadfire Archipelago. A kind that swings onto a ship and convinces the entire crew to drown themselves. Apparently Brynlord heard some stories about the kind of treasures that turn up in Ingwith and ruins. He's come and land. Fang sent the best warriors after Brynlord after he poached a few temples, but they didn't put a scratch on him. Word is Brynlord was last spotted around Deerford Crossing. Deerford Crossing? We can go back there. Bring me Brynlord's head and collect on the payment that the Fangs are offering. What do you know about Laughter? Hard to miss. Pale elf. She came to Stalwart and set up a little temple, pretending to serve Vondra. Lefta's had some training as a priestess for sure, but she's no holy woman. How's she and her friends were just helping themselves to temple offerings? I mean, yeah! Anyway, Lefta and her buddies fled once the truth came out. Looks like they're headed for Defiance Bay. I think they're planning on catching a boat out from the harbour. Like, that actually fills in the quest that kind of abruptly ended as they all left. So someone just looked over at chat and noticed what you lot have been doing, and I'm very impressed. Sent Evan's not. We sent Durance to deal with this because it's very funny, I believe, but we'll read the whole thing because it started the last episode. Human legend holds that St. Ivan created a miraculous knot that the faithless could not untie. A daring burglary recently cleared out the myriad precious relics in the Smith's Hall of Ymir, where each treasure once stood. A string was tied, each leading back to an intricate knot in the center of the temple. A burglar left a tantalizing clue in the form of a written prayer to St. Ivan, but the riddle has stumped the locals. Desperate to recover their artifacts, the priests have reached out to mercenaries and adventurers for help. We sent Durance because it's very funny. In Ymir, Durance met with the priests of Abaddon to discuss the mystery of who had stolen the Smith's Hall's artifacts, and for what purpose. During the investigation, a quirky priest of Whale lent the group his bizarre form of help. Answers to the thief's riddles posed as different riddles. After tracking down each stolen artifact through a series of additional clues, Durance and the priest of Abaddon realized that the priest of Whale was the thief. Really? Of course. Very pleased with himself, he had no objection to being captured and sent to the Earl of Ymir for punishment. When Durance left the priest of Abaddon, they were still trying to determine the point of the theft. Chaos. Ivan's Cradle. Faux AoE. Beneficial effects suspended for 20 seconds. It's pretty good. The crossed eye. And a fucking whale, right? Yeah, well, you have a divinity that's main job is to, like, find answers to secrets and then hide the answers as well. We'll have a bit of chaos gremlin going on in your setting. Back in my chatting banner, Whale's design is really intricate, very cool indeed. And Whale doesn't have a main section in a main focus in Pillars 2, but there's a DLC about Whale, and it's really cool. Looking forward to showing you all that. The Crossed Eye. In the Court of Bowing Ashes stands a towering Adra statue intertwined with living trees. Dating back to the Anguithans, it is believed to represent an Orlan ruler of that lost empire. Look, I like Orlans, but I don't like rulers, so it doesn't really balance out. Though the natural progress of time has done some damage to it, the Glenfathers remember one act of vandalism against it from the early colonial days. During the chaos of the Broken Stone War, 80 explorers ventured deep into Ir Glenfarth, made their way to the Court of Bowing Ashes, and scaled the statue to break loose a single eye, large as an Almar's head, made of pure Adraban. White Adra. Most of the members of that band were captured and killed by the Glenfathers, but the eye was never recovered. In recent years, rumours have spread through the Eastern Reach and a new owner of the eye has been attempting to sell it through covert markets. The Adam Father of at least 3 tribes would reward anyone who recovered it. Here, Vius, go do some justice to some fucking colonizers. Go, buddy, go! Should be exciting as hell to watch him deal with that. This thing looks important and or sacred. Let's ruin it. Rising Tide, Forgotten Army. Yeah, that's go to the Abbey of the Fallen Moon. Go to Crucible Keep and First Fires. We can't yet. We actually need to start Act 3. We'll take Maneha to the Abbey of Fallen Moon. We will. We could do that. Yeah, okay, cool. Just checking to see if there were any more side quests, but I didn't check out tasks that aren't quests. Kill, 3 things, and then return to Ross. Okay, that's what we're looking. Find Esker at the mill in Deerford. Well, We might do some more of those a little bit. I actually don't want to mess about too much. Just hanging out. Not because I'm not excited to, it's just, like, let's get on with the plot of the White March, right? I'm excited to do that. Shining bright from on high. Why am I in here? Hello, Captain. Wow. So you really found the White Forge, huh? He shakes his head in wonder. Hardly believed it at first, but I've never seen Renegade so giddy about anything. He cracks a crooked grin.
Here, drinks on me. We should see a boost in business with the battery open. Makes for a brighter future than we had yesterday, for sure.
Between the service and the weather, I could get used to this place. I suppose we got more lead and key business in the area.
Nothing like a
Pint to take the chill off. We can sell some crap. Sell some ale. Thanks for the free drinks. They give me money for it. But here you can also change party members. Aloth. Sorry, buddy. You've got no specific business in the Abbey of the Fallen Moon. Oh, but I love you. Sagati's just doing so much damage, is making me feel like I shouldn't put her aside. Alright, let's keep this. No.
Our paths shall part.
We know.
I shall.
Yeah. Right? Right? Okay, I'm sorry, Kipper and Queenie. I apologize for my loud cat. A streamer I know, Hope Corrigan, has another camera set up in the corner of her screen to show her husky dogs at all times while playing something. And that, great idea. Very good indeed. Keep an eye on this beautiful, beautiful cat or husky puppies at all times. Very cool. Let's make a less optimal decision. I'm picking up Zawa. You're like, why? God, that's a dumb hat idea. 20%. Oh, speed recovery reduction. It's good. Passive plus 20% minimum damage. Yeah, I know. Yeah, okay, there you go. 20% of incoming crits converted to hits. There, he just won't get attacked. Let's wait. I had another idea. I want to give him his goddamn shield back, which is actually why we might speedrun. Take the hit. Friendly aura, 50% of damage taken redirected to cast overall damage. Perfect. Pop that on everyone in melee, including Grieving Mother, who takes a lot of hits, and poor Devil of Karok is just gonna slide off. I'll be fine. Mortification of the soul. Just immediately gain a wound. That's not that useful. He's gonna get hit anyway, I assure you. It's because Zahua has a quest. It's just actually very hard to activate unless you take him back, speak to him repeatedly. Like, do all of his dialogue, leave Stalwart, return to Stalwart, talk to him again. And I want that to happen. Because I failed to do it last time I played. Passive, just add burn damage whenever you have wounds. The monks have a cool build, and I like monks in fantasy games. Melee critical hits cause the target become weakened. It's just very often they get cool shit. You know? With 2 wounds, you can attack at range. Let's do that. Get 8 wounds, you can summon another version of yourself. Very cool indeed. Critical support to summoning both versions of yourself. Alright, we'll do that. Get an extra wound.
Yeah?
Why kitty so mean to one another? Jijito arrives with BYO scrims, and Pepito immediately harasses and Jijito leaves. Why kitty so mean to one another?
Does anyone have any extra rations? I did some white leaf, and now I'm very hungry.
We're going to take a very long trip back to clear out this. Little munchies. Like, yeah, because several drugs give you munchies, because munchies is essentially, I would like to continue having a good time with, I would like to continue having sensory pleasure. The S-Dock seems to hum as it nears the Ingwithan machine. Something arcs between the steel blade and the agile core of the ancient device. The voices in the S-Dock grow quieter, and the weapon feels more powerful. New writing appears along the blade. The Grey Sleeper. A new verse appeared while the blade was drawn from the pedestal. It reads... Wait, no. Yeah, new verses blaze from the metal. They read, find the sun-kissed hillocks where the dead folk sleep, rest beside their wasting flesh, inspect what dreams you reap. And it just increased in damage. Just strictly got better. Which is good, but it's still a two-hand weapon that our poor dude cannot unequip. He hates Awa, because he's always high and he thinks life is suffering. Yeah. I love that. It's silly. It's also a good way to explain your mechanics for monks, which are like, you must harm yourself or be harmed to gain access to your powers. Yeah, see, Mako, I agree with that one absolutely. The point of life is suffering. Less good. We don't like that. Return to areas you weren't high enough level to find these cool things. We return now? Right, let's rest somewhere where they're all wasting dead. A loamy soil squishes underfoot and something invisible seems to rise from it. You detect essence, faint and barely perceptible, drifting up from the graveyard. The grey sleeper seems to feed on it and the strange voices go quieter still. Another verse gleams in the steel. Ah, there you go. You got it. Cannot be unequipped still, but 5DR bypass. Amazing. The final verses of the poem. Fingers of the world, Adra strong and whole, kneel before the pillars, bring order to your soul. Well, honestly, if we're paying attention to the game at all, we should know what that is. Fingers of Adra. God, we've got no support for Zawa. Do I have to go back under? No. There are pillars of fingers in the middle of Kadnua. But good guess, Mako. You're absolutely right. Zero support for Zawa. Well, let's unlock his...
I'm impressed.
Let's unlock his quest, see if we can do it early. Just for my own benefit, you know? If it's part of the game I haven't played before, I want to do it. Oh, look! A deep and mighty power emanates from the Adra pillars. It resonates in the Grey Sleeper. Kneel! As you kneel, the voices in the Grey Sleeper reach a low, peaceful harmony. A final surge of energy fills the blade, and the voices fall silent. You feel the curse snap like a rotten cord. Grey Sleeper, soulbound. Bound to it dare. Oh, fuck. So we can't take it off and give it to Grieving Mother. Damn. But he can take it off now. We can get him his goddamn shield back, right? But a 5% chance on hit to cast Invoke Vessels. And a 5% chance to cast Twin Stones, which is a highly damaging spell. It's very good. But You can't put it on another person. I had to notice what happened. I knew it would happen, but I forgot that it happens. Like, I well and truly forgot that if you pick it up with one person, you can't move it to another. It well and truly is cursed. And that's embarrassing. It's pretty funny, though. So, Marvel. I think Marvel was asleep and just had to let out a balk. Saber of the Seas. Our good friend Adair uses sabers. Shields count as armor? No? And maybe they count as weapons. I think they count as weapons. Yeah, look, there they are. Shields. Where was your lovely shield? There it is. Bad Gritter's Barricade. I think that was the one, right? There was a fantastic shield. We were waiting. Medium shield. 12 deflection. You can bash 10% critical hit. You get the thrust and tattered veils, which, if I remember correctly, yeah. Damages spellcasters. Fantastic. Said it as much. Read between the lines. Yeah, it's cursed. Don't touch the sword. But, and like, not to be too much of a little shit, but like, no. I could, but like, let's just bangle our way through, right? It was a great quote, and I'm glad to continue holding to that ridiculous terminology and methodology and pedagogy too. I'll be like, well, when you replay and you're playing on not the hardest difficulty, you just fuck about, right? The Edge of Reason. It's a great name for a battle axe. Sadly, we don't have like the Saber Seas is just still pretty good. It's 8 of 14. You could upgrade the damage a little bit, but like that's not his role in the party. Adair, my dude, when we need you to kill things, we'll go swap to Estoc. Mako, on that one we fervently and likely eternally disagree. Fucking about is excellent. Fervently, eternally, and maybe even permanently disagree. Unique stiletto, one-handed. Here's a question. Did I select the thing that gives you extra talents, weapon focus, peasant, hatchet, spear, quarterstaff, hunting bow, unarmed? I didn't choose that, that's for sure. Weapon focus, noble, dagger, rapier, mace, scepter, rod. She's using stilettos, which are not daggers. And so we have a feat that's not giving any benefit at all. The Dragon's Maw shield, he's holding it. That's why I couldn't find it in the thing. Exceptional bashing, 3 guarding. But is it better? Oh my. Oh no, it's a bind soul. Of course we'll do it. We love binding Adair's soul to things. Deal 300 damage to enemies with at least 75% endurance. Cool. Or just deal damage. Well, yeah, he'll do that. No worries. 8. Such good deflection. And extra enemies engaged, which is really useful. I actually play blind. Essentially in any game. Unless I'm starting to get anxiety shivers and I'm like, I honestly don't feel like I can make this decision. I feel like a puppy is going to get injured. You know, something like that. If a puppy is going to get injured or something scary like that, 3 con, much better. Pop that on, buddy. No more cape for you. You already got 3 con. Well, oh, that's not going to help either. Constitution is such an easy thing to get, I guess. Guess we put the cool cloak back on here. My mouse is acting up again. It's not terrible, but it happens. Yeah, we want those. It's pretty well geared up. Yeah, I got that one. It makes a lot of sense. When the worst thing that happens to me is I go, kind of didn't like that. Then, you know, I'm in a good state. So I'm capable of doing that. Anyway, let's talk
What
Zawa.
do you need of Zawa? I would gladly cast light upon.
Just looking...
Mustakan, I was the young. They did not feel the same.
No, it looks
You would
like
ask-
he doesn't have any new dialogue, which is good. What we're after. Let's take a couple of side trips. There we go. Right, well we can't go there yet. Difford Village, I think, was one of them. Was a place we needed to go. For a bounty, you know, because if we're going back to Stalwart, and we are, might as well take a stop off, do a bounty, get a little more experience. I think the cap is level 16 for both White Marsh expansions installed, so we're getting pretty close. Tearford and Clearbun Relog, yep, we know where that is. Laughter is Andra's Gift. No, well, we can't get there yet. Okay, cool. Island Payday. Crossed Eye. One more turn, okay. People ignore tutorials and manuals and why they're struggling. Yeah, I guess. You know, like, they irritate me too when people are loudly complaining about it in public or on Twitter and making it out to be someone else's problem, but I miss obvious things all the time. I just do. Like, I'm glad that the information is available online, you can ask your friends. That sort of collaboration is fantastic. When it's treated like the game itself has failed you, that's ridiculous, right? It's giving you all the solutions. And again, a lot of puzzles I just kind of stare at and think I'm not smart enough for this. Even if that's not strictly true. Who knows? I don't know, Maker. I mean, I'm good at bingle bangle bongle my way through. Because I'm playing on easy, and always will. I'm playing on a difficulty that feels comfortable and natural, and challenges at certain points, but most of the time we can move fast. It happens. And I don't have much to apologize for. Well, anything really. Yeah. It's definitely a difference. Oh man, there's nothing here. Where are you? Come on now. Maybe you're on the road. Such an obvious place to be waiting. Step, 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 step. Ooh. And Maker, those are the streams and Let's Plays I like to watch. With someone who knows exactly what they're doing, shows me the thing they love.
Oh, look at here.
Ah, look at here. With enthusiasm and knowledge. Like, that's good shit. But when but it's really good because when I'm playing, I'm not doing that. Mortification of the soul. 13 damage itself is not much. Now we've got a single wound. That's pretty good. Also, let me know if it's too loud, okay? Combat is pretty loud. Yeah, I'm glad we checked. The music is pretty good, so we'll turn it up a little bit, master down a little bit more. Okay, now let's fight for a bit. Yeah, that doesn't sound too bad. Let's do some afflictions on these people. Our poor Adair, first fight back in the party, and he's already confused.
How may I help?
Yeah, thanks Lexi, appreciate it. Like, oh, Devil's already down. These guys are more dangerous than I expected. Maybe it's Adair's fault. Whoops. Aloth is down.
Hey, do you mind?
We got 4 phrases from Slam. Okay, I didn't expect that to happen, to be honest. Well, we're gonna get to load our save, aren't we? Because we all died. I like that Adair used his new take the hit power to take the hits from our enemies. Anyway, I was talking about, okay, one of the people I enjoyed their Let's Play was Wooden Potatoes, as he played through Final Fantasy X and Final Fantasy X-2, which I played before when I was a teenager, and he played through the game twice before he played and took copious notes in a notebook that he apparently filled, and then played through again. And that time he filmed it. And so a couple times he could like make a couple of
You're not expecting much.
make a couple of sly references to what you're about to encounter next and what you'll find, and get like whet your appetite to make you interested in what was coming up soon. And like, that's great, isn't it?
I'm here.
It's a fuckload of effort. And I apparently just don't do that. Right? Maybe it's the effort. Maybe it's something else. But I just love and appreciate when people do it for me. Wait. We're gonna make him come to us. Okay, now get him. And explode fireball. Look at that. 43 is not an incredible amount of damage, but it makes you feel good when you pull off a cool tactic, right? Let's get this status effect bouncy. Adair is once again confused. Dominated. The lights flicked for 7.4 seconds. I know it's often a tactic to make, if you have a Cypher in your team, make the Cypher Shadow Step. Teleport across the battlefield for a few moments. Teleport. Come on. Not super sure what that did. If anything. It's gonna chain lightning out here. Maneha is down again. If we fail this fight, we're gonna come back later. Check a cheeky difficulty. It's on easy still, so it's not that bad. So, subtitle commentary, no commentary completionist playthrough. I love the commentary though. When someone tells me about something they're excited about, I get happy. Good lord. They're a dangerous bunch, this group of enemies. Summon some Wills of the Wisp. Zap him, buddy.
Me too.
Jeez, let's get out of here. Well, I didn't expect to have this much trouble. That's why I checked the difficulty to see if we'd like accidentally turned it into hard mode or something. Alright, let's get out of here. We want to be completionists, but it doesn't mean we need to do everything right away, right? Otherwise, I'm going to disappoint you. I mean, that would change things. I certainly haven't watched any horror LPs. Well, except for Deadman, which, you know, he does great stuff. Maybe we'd need to drop Zawa and pick up Grieving Mother. Someone wearing full plate, a great sword, who is a much better target for the enemy to dominate and then kill the rest of the team with. No, that's true. Dead Man doesn't do LPs.
First, your neighbors hound you because you say the wrong prayers at supper time.
If it wasn't that, it'd be something else. Just their way of letting you know they care.
Andra, bless you, my meal is back. Royce's wind-chapped face is puffy and her eyes are red. And the girl's not leaving my sight for a week. She glares down at Miller and clears her throat loudly. Miller shuffles forward and speaks a tone of recitation. I'm sorry for all the trouble I caused. Thank you for bringing me home. I promise not to wander off ever again. She glances up at her mother. When Royce nods, Miller gives you a handful of warm, sweaty coins. No need for that. You keep it. Miller looks back up at Royce, who nods. Thank you, mister. The girl pockets the grubby coins, still not looking at you. But when Royce glances away to exchange pleasantries with someone else, Miller looks at you shyly and whispers, Thank you for not killing my friends. I found a bubble hat back in the woods. By the roots it looked like dragon tails. I tried to put it on, but it was too heavy. She glances back at Royce, who's still distracted. But you can have it if you want. It's still there by the roots.
Then some cross-eyed lord gets to stringing up your neighbors.
A couple of them were ones that have been hounding me, so that worked out at least.
I mean, Aloth leveled up. That was worth it. Thanks for the sweet hat, small child. Kakabald's black bow. Summon a cool bow? Yeah. Kakaloth's. It'll probably be Kadabald. Kadabald's black bow and Kakaloth's freezing rake. We'll take the freezing rake. That's great. Damages only enemies? Fantastic. We'll take the piercing sigil because that's... No, when you're struck in melee? No, that's not that useful. Actually, that's very useful. Never mind. We'll take that. If someone walks up to Aloth, we'll cast that. We'll be fine. We could get him to cast Confusion on enemies, and then maybe we won't be the only one that's suffering it. Or we take Menelatus concussive missiles. I love... No, Aloth, cast tentacles every turn. Yes, please. Every combat we're getting some beautiful tentacles out of Aloth. Ah, decision has been made. Okay.
What do you need of Zawa?
Talk to Zawa in Stalwart. Nope.
Yeah?
We tried. Well, look, if everyone dislikes Zawa, we'll drop him. Because, like, I mean, I thought, leave, return to Stalwart, talk to him, something will happen. Nothing? No? Okay, bye. Bye, kiddo. Maybe we'll rest in Stalwart, then talk to him, just in case. But if nothing happens, nothing happens.
Warm your hands, eh? What can I do for you? Nothing like a...
Take that chill off. Dex Mike Con. Rest. Talk.
What do you need of Zawa?
Alright.
Huh?
We tried.
Warm your hands, eh? What can I...
Very
Yeah.
well.
He's no Durance, but he's no grieving mother either. We'll catch you later, buddy. Have a good time.
Sure. Yeah?
Is Gator back to ask for more prisoners? It took extensive searching and inquiry across 3 countries, but Hiravius eventually picked up the trail of the stolen Adraban Eye. Following the Broken Stone War, the Almar thief travelled south to Abet, then on to Nassatok. Among the Boreal Dwarves, maybe we should have sent Sagani, the thief found a wealthy buyer, a chief of a prosperous tribe. A generation later, the tribe fell on hard times and was raided by both Deadfire Archipelago pirates and Pale Elves from the White That Wins. The Pale Elves sold the stolen eye to merchants from Old Valia, who took it north to the Prince of Darkosi, and remained there for 2 generations. When the Darkosi palace was sacked, one of the invading soldiers took the eye as a prize, carrying it across the sea to Ozia in the Valian Republics. It was still there when Hiravius arrived. The wealthy patriarch who owned the eye demanded a hefty sum. The grandfather and father did not hesitate to pay the price. Done. We get a cool eye patch. Negative accuracy, but immune to blinded. It's great. Actually makes sense. Gator turns up. She wants more prisoners. We're not giving her more. That's ridiculous. Alright. That's some side quest done.
Hey,
Side quest attempted to. let's get out of here. We're going straight to the well. It's entirely possible why I don't want to do it. It was like scrolling back up to Mako. If an LP is more polished and produced, that's probably why I don't want to do one.
Scenic marches and campfire feasts. Like the good old days on the Valian front. You got any memories like that, Adair?
Well, let's see. Sometimes we'd march 2-3 days without sleep. Start seeing things that weren't there.
Nice thing about mercenary work is you can always quit.
What are you, the Third Reich army who have to take commanders on meth? Streams are the real game and LP is the game without the bullshit. Oof, how true that is. How true that is. I wouldn't have even included resting multiple times to see if I could get Zawad to admit his goddamn quest. Longbosk. And some sweet horses. Hell yeah. And Luxie. Mila gets extra random fondness based on entirely being in approximately the same name with a different spelling, traditional nickname, diminutive form of your lovely honors supervisor. Well, cool. I like that. Alright. Hi, Longbosk. A dwarf, clothed in but a few scraps of fur, puffs up his bared chest with every little drag from his pipe. Come a long way to get some air, have you? What are you doing here? Enjoying the fine weather. Just a bit longer. He smiles, letting a cloud of smoke and frosted breath escape through his teeth. My mistress had business with the Ondrites. We'll be off as soon as she's down at the Abbey. Meantime, I was told to stay put. Don't want any outsiders meandering about. She's already put some kind of hex on me, says I won't even remember any of this. But the copper's worth it. She says I'll wake up at home with a full coin purse, opposite of most of my mornings that had a certain appeal. Alright. Tell me about your mistress. Which one? He lets out a chuckle and slaps his chest. A reddening print blooms on his skin. Wish she were the fun kind, though. She's a gift bearer. Paid me well to guard her on the journey, though. Oh, well, I'm looking to get inside. Oh, you know. He pulls the pipe away from his clenched teeth and points its long stem to the path ahead. Far as I know, straight this way. Middle path on the right with ruined arch. If they let you in, of course. Ondrites are none too friendly, but to their own. My mistress went through the archway. Spoke to some guards there and headed on. He bites down on his pipe with a sour expression. They got eyes on the other paths. Cast me dirty looks from afar when they pass this way. He grunts. As if I'd stand here in plain view if I had some grand design of sneaking into their place in church. What's an abbey got that's worth hiding, anyway? Monks? He grunts and shakes his head and mutters something about if he were younger. Do you know of other ways into the abbey? No, but it's an abbey, not a fortress. You can bet it's got holes like any fat old monster. Supply passages, escape routes. He shrugs as if it were a matter of course. I'd be lying if I said I'd never explored one uninvited when I was too young to know better and help myself to its relics. Let's just say if a certain war goddess has her way, I'll be living my next life as a dung roll bug. Why are you helping me? He shrugs. You gotta look about you. Looks like you need it. And maybe there's something I don't like about this place, like it's hiding something. My younger days, it'd be me going in here. Farewell. Doubt we'll meet again. Any luck, my mistress will return soon. Hope you find what you're looking for. I don't know who you are, buddy, but thanks.
Hard to imagine a whole sect living out here. But I guess that's the point.
Undisturbed by the high winds above, a mist hides in the depths of this chasm. He said take the middle path, right? Do we do what we're told here? Or do we wander? Currents of wind bounce off the jagged rocks, rising to meet your face with a freezing touch.
I should not have peered over the edge. I could see no bottom.
Hold. Who's there? I was just looking for the way out. You are trespassing here. Oh, really?
Quick. Seal.
Perhaps if you pray, the lady will allow you to forget. That's absurd. I have, in my past, been trespassing on places, and even trigger-happy security guards are like, alright, get the fuck out, before they immediately try and kill you. This is absurd. Look at him, just beating up on poor Aloth. Just did enough to knock him down. You'll pay for this.
Gotta try something else.
How friendly indeed. That's absurd. You're trespassing here. I'm going to kill you. Title Fist mask. Could probably put that mask on and then,
Alright then.
like, sneak in. I just wanted to say hi. How did you get here? I won't tell you anything about it. Alright, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to leave. Maybe we should have lied. You know, I guess we're gonna... Yeah, they're already aggressive. We don't even get a chance to talk. We fight our way in then. One of the main abilities barbarians, like Maneha, get is Carnage. Carnage makes you deal AoE damage with every strike. See? Our basic attack is an AoE radius. If you're thinking about it appropriately, we could, like, target things so that we try and group up enemies, but it's also pretty great when your barbarian is overgeared and your carnage damage is just smacking the hell out of everyone. Like a bunch of vessels. You know, like a bunch of zombies. Get a bunch of zombies. Have some zombie trouble. There you go. Come on, guys. Wearing some heavy armor means we're not dealing a lot of damage.
Alright then.
Weapon racks just chilling out here. Get it? Chilling. Protruding from the side of the cliff, what appears to be a massive hip bone lies encrusted in a prison of rocks and ice. Massive hip bone.
I'll see what's ahead.
Location discovered. Giant skeleton's rib cage. Terrifying enemies. Ah, we got Psychic Backlash. We attacked the Android Mind Gazer, who has that cipher ability. It's like, whenever you... If someone accidentally, or intentionally, targets you with a mind-affecting spell, they're gonna get stunned. And that's a little sad, but, you know. Aloth, tentacles, please. We're going to, if we can, get you to summon tentacles every fight.
I wish.
Hilariously, I think the Android Mind Gazer also did a mind-affecting effect on our cipher, who is the protection thing. And now they're stunned too. There's a
Alright then.
Pathfinder First Aid, and I think Second still has this design philosophy, but I'm not certain. Qua has this door is still shut. Has a design philosophy that says that every NPC shouldn't be able to do special NPC shit. So you need to build them the same way as PCs. This giant wrist bone ends without providing any clues as to the location of its matching hand. And I don't know where I come down on the your system should use the same rules for players as NPCs. But it is occasionally nice when we run across it like here. Oh. Where we walked up, used the ability in us, we used the same ability back on them. It was available to us. It just feels a bit more justified. Feels fairer, I guess. But it does mean that if you're under attack, I mean, yeah, it's not new. Tentacles, please. They just love attacking Aloth. It's their favorite. Aggressive. Oh yeah, damage. Alith is down again. Having a bit of a time tonight, aren't we? Devil of Carrot got knocked down and is now being punched.
Indeed.
That choke points. The ability to say, we're going to turn the difficulty down after this fight.
I shall end this.
You have no need to struggle throughout the entire stream. That wouldn't be too much fun. Turning the difficulty down to story mode, jeez. Yeah, there's one more. But look, they're soaking up a lot of damage and knocking down our characters really fast. We're also not coming with a healer or anything, it's not a balanced party. But still, it feels bad to be beaten up so clearly by this single monk. And if we brought our monk, he wouldn't have much to do.
Got it.
A little bit closer so our chants affect all of them. Alright, Adair, go get him. 6. Damaging. My constitution resolved. Do we have a heal? We do have a heal. Is a bouncy ball of healing. It's just a good heal. Good lord. Right. Story time. Composition of battles is the same level difficulty, but the game's mechanics are biased in the player's favor. We can have an unlimited amount of camping supplies, which is nice. May even just indulge that now. Take all this loot. Paladin helm. Neat. Let's look at this. A mural is rendered on the face of the rock wall. 4 panels seem to be arranged as a story of some kind. Inspect the mural. First panel, Anthu, the end. Next. Second panel, Salmon, the flood. Next. Third panel, Dissaman, the ebb. Fourth panel, Dianthu, the beginning. Interesting. Perhaps a creation legend, perhaps mythology, perhaps just a series of ideological statements.
You say so.
Things rise, fall, return again. Topaz.
I'll see what's ahead.
Currents of wind bounce off the jagged rocks, rising to meet your face with freezing touch. Plus, isn't it more satisfying to walk forward and say, look, you attacked us for no reason, we're going to beat you all up. On story mode difficulty. Untitled Title Fist. Alright, well... Aleth's right at the front there. Hopefully, Adair with his I'll take damage for you thing is going to help. Oh, they knocked back.
Lead the way.
At least you're aggressive, Berserk. And the reason you went,
Hey.
I don't know what to do next, is because we took him down too fast. Whew. Good job, Aloth. You see that? Launch one of his beautiful spells right after the fight was over.
Alright then.
My favorite. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, so here's more of them. You keep yelling that, but it's not helping.
Got him.
Oh. Look at that. That's much nicer. Difficulty-wise. Plus, unless you like watching me specialize in mechanics for a long time, the halls of presence are the entrances, the passages of Andra. Let's look for another entrance. Here's where they first turned on it. Ooh, interactable. Nice. Alright, title of this gains a wound after we've killed him. Hollow log containing some cool stuff. Alright. An angry wind whistles as it twists around the frozen fingers of this giant skeletal hand. Where are we? As if thrown into the chasm, skeletal remains rest precariously on the ledges of this cliff as far as you can see. You stand at the precipice of a fissure that time has worn into the mountain upon which the abbey stands. Whistling winds call out from the depths of the crevasse, mournful wails hinting at the great descent from the edge into the dark and lonely spaces below. Encased in centuries of rime, a gargantuan skeletal hand hangs awkwardly above the gap, its fingers displayed in a pained pose, eyes preserving the circumstances of the victim's death long after the flesh rotted away. With only the ominous moaning of the crevasse to disturb your thinking, you consider your options. Inspect the area. Considering the span of the gap and the position of the skeletal hand, you believe a well-placed grappling hook would allow you to reach the other side. But positioning the hook may be tricky. The winds are not so strong as they would endanger attempts to cross. With only the ominous moaning of the crevasse to disturb your thinking, you consider your options. Cast the grappling hook. It's going to get us into like a part of the map we could probably access just by exploring, but like, let's do it. It's fun. It's not like, not to harp on it too much, but it may not be the most efficient way, but it is interesting. Right? Let's make the inefficient choice to see what happens. Cast the grappling hook. The middle finger is a large target. Lol. But it sits in the midst of buffeting winds that threaten to blow the rope and grapple off course. Whoever casts the grappling hook will need nimble fingers to ensure a good throw. Hello, Captain. Hello, loud cat. As you ponder the difficulty of the throw, the wind momentarily abates, becoming little more than eerie murmurs whispering far below you. Who will cast the hook? Who's got the highest dex? Honestly, I actually think it's Slam Shadows. You will cast a grappling hook. You dangle the grappling hook cautiously, waiting to release the rope during a lull in the gusting winds. During a quiet moment, you swing the grapple back and begin to rock the weight forward for a toss. Just before you release, a blast of air erupts from the crevasse. You flinch, sending the grapple off course. It slams into the great deck skeletal ulna with a cracking sound you barely hear over the wind's howl. You quickly spool the rope back up from the depths to recover the grapple. Dexterity 18, and it wasn't enough. Wow. I think the next highest is Devil. Well, she doesn't have it that. No, she doesn't have it that high. We may not be able to make it. Anyone got higher than 18 dex? 14, 9, 17. Oh, only 13. Never mind. Maybe Aloth. Let's give it a try. Cast grappling hook. Aloth, go! Adair swings it back. It's interesting. Nope. Well, I guess we can't make it. Let's take another way in. Yes, Captain. Yes. Little kitty. Maybe you know that it is 20 minutes till break time. Grieving Mother dangles it, but Adair swings it back. I guess, yeah. It's not easy, that's for sure.
If you say so.
Very difficult challenge. Sagani may have been able to do it. She's got high dex and perception. She's an archer. Yes, Captain. But look, we made it. Ice is built upon every space between the bones of the skeletal hand, forming a slippery incline into the jagged cliffs below. An angry wind whistles as it twists around the frozen fingers of this giant skeletal hand. Well, we went in via a door. Let's go. Just mute in the chat. The rising tide. Infiltrate the Abbey of the Fallen Moon. Find out how to reach the reliquary. We're in. We made it into the Abbey. We're hoping it's not too cursed.
Smells like an ocean breeze. We've got to be close.
Hell yeah. Oh, my friends, you're not gonna like this. Calicoth's freezing hand. Good damage there. Get him, Aleph.
Let's try that again.
Hey,
Perfect. The library. Okay, so they pulled Paul Slam Shadows into the middle of the fight. Use your charger there. Let's cause some trouble. Jeez. That worked.
yes.
Dragon's Maw Shield. Okay, well he dealt 300 damage with at least 75% endurance. Excellent. So, deal 150 damage to prone enemies, or 750 in general. Very good indeed. 25% chance to cast Taste of the Hunt. Extra damage. And damage restored his endurance on a hit or critical hit. That's good for a shield. Self-heal on shield, very good. Bookcase. Random books. Random lockpicks.
All right then.
Yeah, nothing particularly fancy here. Ah, there you go. The Gift Bearer's Pilgrimage added to the stuff. Added to the stash. Well, if it's a quest item, let's do it. A gift bearer of Andre is travelling along the road when she meets a man in tears holding a scrap of parchment. Why do you weep? Asks the gift bearer. I hold here a letter from my wife. I tried to be a good husband, but the letter says I was not, and she has gone to seek a company for better man. Now this is all that remains of her. Give the letter to me, then, says the gift bearer. For once you've forgotten the letter, your wife can cause you no further pain. The man gives her the letter and finds his tears have dried up. He thanks the gift bearer and leaves at peace. The gift bearer continues on, contemplating the man's story, but does not get far before she encounters an old woman in tears, holding a string of beads. Why do you weep? Asks the gift bearer. I hold here a string of beads that counted the years of my daughter's life. Sickness took her while she was still a child, and she was denied the joys of a full life, and I the joys of a mother. This is all that remains of her. Give the beads to me, then, says the gift bearer, for once you've forgotten the beads, your daughter can truly rest. The old woman gives her the beads and finds her grief no longer gnaws at her soul. She thanks the gift bearer and leaves at peace. Thinking on the woman's pain, the gift bearer follows the road until she reaches the sea. In her hands she carries the letter and the beads. They are light in her hands, but heavy upon her heart, and she is crying. She prays to Entre to allow the objects to be forgotten, and casts them into the water. And yet, long after they have sunk beneath the waves, the gift bearer still finds herself still weeping. Merciful Andra, pleads the gift bearer, in your service I have helped people forget their troubles, yet though I pass them on to you, I still feel as though they were mine. How can this be? The gift bearer listens to the wisdom of the crashing waves until she understands. To feel the troubles of others in your soul is a burden itself. However, she has no token to give to Andra to bear it away, for the troubles are not hers to forget. I give myself to you then, says the gift bearer, for once I am in your care, no memory may haunt me. And with that, the tide comes forth and embraces the gift bearer. When it ebbs, she is gone. Interesting. Kinda dark too, right? Halls of Silence. This fucks beyond reason. Yeah.
That'll do.
It's organized religion.
It's here. The salt well.
I forgot that was a thing. I actually did not know that that we were going to be mentioned suicide there, and a content warning would make sense. I will pop that on the on the VOD that goes up. Thank you. In the room is a pool. It's small but deep enough that you can't see the bottom. The glassy surface almost looks frozen.
You know, I thought it'd be bigger.
Yeah, so does Maneha. She stands rooted in place, staring at it. You know, I thought it'd be bigger. And I thought you'd be diving in by now. Maneha makes a little noise of frustration in the back of her throat.
You know how when you've been thinking about something so long, you're worried that when you finally get it, it won't be what you expected?
She tugs at one of her bracelets.
For all we know, that thing's just filled with leeches.
You're stalling.
Don't remind me.
Okay, 7 options here. As a quick reminder, Maneha did something incredibly fucked up to crush a local resistance when she was a mercenary. She's regretted it ever since, for like over 100 years apparently. It's not been made explicitly clear whether it was done like she remembers it because she was awakened, but I think not. I think she did it personally. No need to go into, like, it was kill non-combatants in a way similar to Vlad the Impaler, is what we might as well say. We now need to make a choice, chat, so let's do it. 1. You were never liable for the massacre you remember. Let go of your guilt. Massacre you remember instead of massacre you performed. 2. Your memory of the massacre has shaped you. Discarding it may change you more than you intend. 3. Memory is a presence for our misdeeds. You have no right to forget the massacre. 4. What if your memory of the massacre has prevented you from committing a similar crime? 5. Your suffering helps no one. Forget the massacre so you can have peace. 6. The problem has never been your memory. It's part of your soul that led you to massacre those people. And 7. Do it or don't, but make up your mind. So, Larksy, in true Larksy form, has chosen 4 potential answers. 2, 3, 4, and 6, and Mako has said 3, 4, or 6, but with 3 as a leaning. Now that's pretty good, to be honest, because at this point we've got like 2 votes for 3. Now I want to give everyone a chance to catch up, because maybe they're a few seconds behind, and this is pretty big. While Maneha is not hanging out with us at at all times. Good to see you, Corvus. And Golem King votes 7. Aha! And Fledge, first time chat from viewer. Nice to have you along. And another vote for 4. That makes it a little more complicated. It puts 2 votes for 4, and 3 votes for 6, and 3 votes for 3. And another one for 3. There you go. Lots of votes coming on. Mention feet to summon Deadman for his vote. And here he is. Good lord, you lot. That does, in fact, with Deadman's vote, push us pretty far forward into 3. And honestly, I agree. Memory is a peasant's for your misdeeds. You have no right to forget the massacre. You keep saying you're always here. Yeah, but it's funny to say that we've got a keyword to summon you.
Decades.
She squeezes her eyes shut and clutches at the back of her scalp.
How long do I have to bear it to absolve myself? The rest of this life? Or another afterwards?
1, 2, or 3 again. 1, that's not for you to decide. 2, and what if your victims still remember? Should you be free while they suffer? And 3, fair enough. Do as you will then. You gotta be awakened. Yeah. Here's a good one. It's 10 minutes until our usual break time, so I'm glad we could get at least this part done before we get going. Ooh, lots of votes for 2. Very good indeed. I also, I think 1 and 2 are the real options here. 3 is just kind of throwing in the towel. While I appreciate games have an option to say that I don't have an idea. As a player or even as a character, I don't have an opinion on this. It doesn't feel as good to include solutions that are, in fact, I relinquish my agency in this video game. This medium that gives us explicit agency. So, and what if your victims still remember? Should you be free while they suffer? In tabletop RPG, I think you should expect occasionally the players will not have an opinion on the moral question you put in front of them, and they may just have to check out. Nothing wrong with that.
I was afraid you'd say something like that.
She stares at the well for several seconds.
My parents always said that anything that seems too good to be true probably is. You spend so much time searching for a way to fix what's broken. You don't see that the fixing would only break something else.
She kicks a pebble into the pool. It falls in without so much as a ripple.
Only one thing left to do.
She looks back at you. What's that? Maneha pulls a rolled cloth bundle out of her pack. You recall seeing it earlier. She snaps the leather cords that bind it and unfolds it to reveal a wine bottle.
Took this from the Marcheso's cellar the night I was awakened. One of the finest vintages there.
Okay, so we missed it and made it clear. It seems like perhaps the memory is from an awakened part of her soul that did it.
Been saving it to celebrate my new start. I think it's time to open it.
She jams a knife into the cork and twists it out with a squeaking pop. A lush, jammy aroma wafts from the bottle. She holds it under her nose and breathes deeply. She puts the bottle to her lips and tilts it back. After a long, slow drink, she smacks her lips.
A few years past its peak. Good thing we're enjoying it now.
She swirls the wine in the bottle before holding it out to you. Take a drink. We gotta take a drink.
The best burdens are the ones you share.
Maneha passes you the bottle. An unpleasant sharpness has crept into the wine, but it's an enjoyable draught all the same. Together, you finish the bottle.
Time to make some good memories.
Maneha was granted a satisfied mind. She wipes her mouth with the back of her hand.
Tell me,
What is that? Oh, that stupid hood. The executioner's hood, remember? Satisfied mind, +2 resolve. Bringing your resolve up to 13. Not terrible. It's a good little quest. I like that. And in here, there's a of intellect +4 ring. Very good indeed. Grants instill doubt. Faux AoE of dazed when you get below 80%. Plus for intellect, we're putting that on Aloth. That's fantastic. Get extra AoE radius, and hopefully die slightly less.
Hi?
Yeah. Does he have anything else that gives intellect? +2 in his on his chest, which is not terrible. Means it won't stack, but it's better than nothing.
Hey.
Like a living prison, thick arms of coral have grown around an assortment of old, weathered relics.
if you say so. You've got it done.
And St. Wygot's Cudgel. A fancy club. Sorry, Maker. See, the question of whether you're responsible for the things you did, things your soul did in a previous life, it needs to be taken into account. In Pillars, it's an explicit thing that is verifiable, and you're still at least slightly, mostly, partially, the amount changes. The same person. Whoop, there was dialogue there that just jumped past. Probably High Abbot Kaoto saying something before. There you go. You've made a grave mistake. I will correct it in Andra's name. And that's it. Now we fight. And let's terrify everyone with a yell. Got him. And let's get the mind gazes. Oh, okay. Gotta admit, having it on the lower difficulty is much nicer. Light armor. Robes of Tidebringer. Grants Martyr on unconscious. Attack speed for other people who die. For your other party members when you die. Should put that on Aloth. In fact, I think we might. Guy's always falling over. Steel Banner Key, Wave Crested Key, just get a bunch of stuff. not bad. Like, his intellect 2 law giving, like, he don't use his law, his DR3 is not amazing. Yes, Emma is typing in the background. She's busy tonight. That'll count as armor. Oh, hello, comrade. Nice to see you tonight. You are the sum of all your past lives is almost a cyberpunk-esque concept. Very Ghost in the Shell. Oh, I like that. The problem with having, like, 1 or 2 models is that your wizard is ripped as fuck. Maybe these robes of the Tidebringer are, in fact, like... Please give Emma something nice on a break and a hug. That's exactly what I intended to do. I'm not going to pretend that I wasn't, like, that I wasn't going to do it and willed out that you told me. But, I mean, you could get the credit for at least a little bit if you'd like to pretend. There you go. Let's put Of Might on it as well. So we'll do extra damage with his spells. But, oh, I'm going to ripped wizard.
Hey.
So, again, this is the... You know how sometimes you're like, a lot of people in this dungeon are carrying notes that explain their backstory and plot information if I choose to attack them on sight. Pillars has the fantastic solution of, you're able to read spirits of some of the people you kill, so if you kill them for no reason, you can get info off them after. I just love that. It's very funny. The sum of your past lives is Cyberpunk. Man, I should probably play Cyberpunk 2077. I gotta watch Tim Rogers' video first, which is still not out. The High Abbot's soul remains close to his body, radiates a warmth only you can feel. Reach out for his soul. You project your essence outward, and when it makes contact, you find yourself suddenly plummeting through the moments and sensations of another life. You see beneath you in a memory glowing brightly, and as you pass it, you latch on and pull yourself inside. You walk briskly through a hallway flanked by small, gated rooms. It has the feel of a prison, but the architecture is consistent with the abbey. Your heart races. You pause in an array of panels, too blurry to read. You rearrange them, and a hidden tile slides back in the wall. In that spot, you make a strange sign with your hands, and the way ahead opens for you. You ascend a flight of steps and take hold of a rod-shaped object attached to a mechanical device and push down on it. You hear the sound of water in the distance. Water puzzle? Oh, fuck. You're falling through memories again, but come to a sudden sharp landing outside an enclosure that overlooks the facade of the abbey. Water flows over an archway like a waterfall without a source. You look in your hand, and the relic you took from the device is there. You extend it outward, and the water seems to be repelled by it, creating space for you to enter. As you step through, the doorway leads out of the memory entirely. You withdraw in the same direction you came from, flying upward and out of the High Abbot's soul. Enter the halls of silence. A puzzle, not a terrible one. There you go. Yeah, the Abbot's quarters. Here's where we get a note that explains plot. Oh, we get hit by a storm of holy fire that repeats itself. Journal of the High Abbot. This volume appears to serve many functions. There are notes in it detailing schedules and routines at the Abbey. There are favorite passages from on-write texts, annotated with personal insights. There are also descriptions of dreams. Many seem purely symbolic, but one entry is of interest. It has been long since I dreamt of my rising. Yet now, with another rising soon upon us, this is the 5th time in a week. Perhaps channeled here I can put it to rest. I'm walking through the halls of silence. I feel eyes on me from all sides, angry, vengeful eyes. I arrange the panels and curl my hands into the sign of the tide. The right is the wave, the left tracing the crescent moon on my 2 outer fingers. The way opens to me. I climb the steps Andra's witness is installed there. The old aspergillium set to operate the valves. I use it like a lever. The water rises. There are angry shouts, and when I cover my ears, they are louder still. But the water continues upward, far past where it should. I climb as high as I can, but I feel it icy on my feet. Then it is over my head, and I cannot breathe. Suddenly I'm outside the reliquary, looking at the Veil of Tears. The witness is in my hand, and the veil parts for it. I step through to the one place in the abbey I feel protected. Only when I pass inside, I come out in total darkness. I call for help. I'm shouting, screaming for help. There's no answer. I stop. I sit there in the darkness. Sorry, I sit there in the dark, waiting for what seems like ages. Then I realize I don't know who I am. Neat! Let's get out of here, otherwise we'll keep taking damage. Oh no. The door shut. Because I accidentally clicked it. Ah, comrade. I think it would be very cool, comrade, if we end up with a dick tattoo. Because I...
What?
Sorry.
I agree with Captain.
Okay, we'll finish this fight and then we'll pause and we'll take a break for 10 minutes, okay? I do hope everyone did hear Emma going, what the fuck? Yeah. Yeah, cool. Interesting relationships and styles between between styles used in religious buildings, government buildings, and prisons. Yeah, well, I'd have no idea, so maybe you'll have to tell chat. Okay. I'll be back in 10 minutes, everybody. So that means we'll be back at 8:30, 8:41. And lucky people in the VOD can just click and skip 10 minutes. Lucky you. Back soon. And we're back. Ooh. Thanks for going through that, Luxie. It's a shame, you know, the break screen doesn't have the chat box, and I will add that, you know? Just so you guys can actually see it in the VOD. But Luxie went through some fantastic information about the architecture style. I'm glad you're back up, Manko. Yeah, life outside the stream, true. Just wanted, you know, wanted to make a nice drink and go to the bathroom. This one is what I'm considering to be like a whiskey starter. I know there is almost certainly something with the same name, but it is what I'm considering an easier way to, other than an old-fashioned, an easy way to not spruce up, but dilute whiskey a little bit to get people interested and started with a new thing. And to sprint startery, yes. Well, I mean, I got her the tart earlier today. Got her the tart by a tart, too. Anyway, more importantly, if you're having a difficult evening, it's worth having some sort of treat.
Jim's a treat.
Maybe you heard that. Who's dispensing the tart? The tart machine.
They shall see nothing while I see much.
The whiskey starter to me, I put a little bit of triple sec, which is a sweet and orangey alcohol, into 2 shots of whiskey, Octentashun, because it's really lovely, and add a little, like a bar spoon of my dark simple syrup to add a little texture to the flavor. Not just is it sweet, but it's sweet and tastes like brown sugar. And it loosens it up a little bit, makes it easy to understand, and like it rounds out the whiskey so it's less unique. And Octentashun is a really interesting, unique whiskey, but it's an easier way to get started. If someone says, I don't like old fashions, it's still a little bit too harsh, you can lengthen it with a bit of soda. We can make something like this. I'd also garnish it with a twist of orange if I could be bothered. Now, chat, yes, I'm the consolation tart. We all are. It's a good position to be in, I'd say. Someone needs a tart, you'd be there in a flash, okay? Look after them. I will be sweet, if flaky, and maybe a bit fruity. Color me shocked, right? If we're all consolation tart, who's the first prize tart? Well, I don't know. Who won Britain's Bake Off? Great British Bake Off. Maybe they've got the appropriate tart behavior.
I shall listen for.
Your alternate title in Consolation Tart is Bye Pie.
Now, for the VOD, you may not have heard the opposite title for a consolation tart is the Bye Pie. Bye Pie! Oh, Maneha's down. She has 330 endurance for each fight and still immediately gets owned. Maybe she forgot how to fight. They didn't let her forget anything. Oh, another Ondrak quarters key.
Hey.
If you say so. Got it done.
Don't need a key. We've got the Devil of Karok here. Slow clap. Thank you. That's all Emma. She said it. Still good though. Yeah.
Time to see and not be seen.
Very smooth slam shadows. Get him! Oh, we've got our tank at the forefront.
Yes.
I'm not gonna get owned.
Join arms.
No murder like this.
He's wearing better armor now. You can't take him down. Alright, he's going down. Comrade, how could you? Okay, so Aloth is about to go down again. Because of course he is. Maneha is standing back and doing nothing.
Join arms.
Taylor's having a good time doing nothing. Let's knock down some people, my man. Yeah. Your shield is deal damage to people knocked down. Let's make that happen. Knock this guy down too. Bonk. Cool. Still knocked down even if he is friendly. Let's beat him up. You can click the sword button to use sword on people.
Hey.
Hello, MR.
Keeping an eye.
I don't want our refreezes going down. We're real horny tonight. We're giving people the clap. We're being consolation tarts. It's fantastic. Good way to spend a Monday evening. That's likely one of the other entrances that we ignored. Go us. Nothing horny about the clap. Yeah, true. Where does this door lead? To the ramparts of the Abbey. I don't want any ramparts. Glad we're on the same page though. Look at that cool thing. That's a ship being wrecked by a kraken.
I shall.
You've made that wedding cake? The craftsmanship that gave form to the statue appears too skilled and refined to have come from mere mortal hands. It's got a pretty low attitude of mortal skill, man. Mortals can do some pretty sweet shit. It's probably the front door we didn't go through. Visit this main pool. Maybe there's something cool going on here. Oh, the gift bearer Beska. That's probably the gift bearer we could have had dialogue with if they didn't attack us on sight. What a jerk. I'm pretty sure we're going to have issues if we don't get some sort of person who can absorb damage to stand in Slam's way. Stop! I'd love to. Look, we tried, buddy. Adair's gonna smack him all with his charge.
Take you.
If mortals are a reflection of the divine must be a reflection of mortals, which means my divinity does have a tattoo of Cyberpunk 2077 on their junk. And if I were to adjust it to add my own tattoo, it is only fair. Stop. Nope, that's too silly, Jimbles. Gift bearer, do you have anything interesting? No? Grimoire of the Tides? Maybe take a look at that. Otherwise, no.
Hey.
A thin film of iridescent dust floats on the calm surface of the waters, obscuring its depths. Ah. What a neat little crystal there. Massive crystals. Its jagged edges iridescent with an unearthly glow pierces through the dome. Mosaics and tiles have been carefully arranged around the strange rock. Abbot's quarters, top of the abbey. Top of the abbey? We're not going there just yet, though. Yeah, it's halls of silence. We're going to go down. But the divine is involved in this sacred tattooing of the comrade junk. What could insist upon a proper cyberpunk story in Cyberpunk 2077, if not the divine powers of storytelling to truly add an appropriate story? Look, I don't know where I'm going with this. I just think it's very funny. So I'm gonna keep doing it, okay? I'm in a good mood. I didn't sleep very well at all this morning, so when things started to pick up today, just everything started to work, and it made the whole day worthwhile.
Of course.
I'm also in a really good mood because, drumroll please, I have something to announce to the chat and all of our friends and family here. I applied for a university course. And they gave me a call and it looks like they're probably going to accept me. As long as I fill in the paperwork, they'll be in contact soon. That's terrifying, right? Because I've tried university and it didn't go particularly well before. I was also a horribly depressed, not very teenager anymore, so we're hoping this attempt will go better. But I'm applying for an online university. Well, a distance and online university. They do allow you to attend there. I think it's not reservation school. It's specifically a campus. Dragon's Ball Shield leveled up. That's great. We'll talk about that in a moment. But I'm going for a Bachelor of Counseling, which to my friends will know that's very me, right? And I'm very excited about that. And then we can even go for my online presence, and you'll know that the postgraduate I'm going for, which, we got to get through the Bachelor first, is a Master's in Sexology. And you know my online presence at all, that's absolutely very Jimbles. So, I'm going to give that a go. I'm very nervous. But we hope it'll turn out well. Yeah, the professor will in fact actually be a professor. Maybe I'll understand academia enough that they'll want me to teach other people. God, that'd be good.
You're actually going to be a professor?
I don't know, maybe.
Probably not.
We'll find out. Someone's got to teach the counselors. Okay, so we leveled up the Dragon's War Shield again, and now Adair just has a fear aura at all times. When his endurance is below 26%, foe AoE has a Terrify chance. Amazing. So, next thing we need to do is just kill 10 enemies with the Dragon's Ball Shield. I think that is specifically with the Shield Bash ability.
Hey.
I'm gonna go... nope. I don't know how to activate Shield Bash, so maybe it'll just happen, which will be great.
Hey.
Yeah. So that's gonna be fun, I'd say. Now, if I get in, we'll start studying Wave Crested Key, another one. The semester starts in March, so don't expect me to stop streaming next week. But we may have to, cut it down, and that would suck. We'll see how it turns out. The problem is, the aura requires Adair to go to, low health. And usually he's the last one to die, so it may not come up. Ooh. Hey, Aloth, you got the kill there, buddy. With your stick. How's yours going? 14 of 25. Well, you're trying.
Hey.
I wonder if you can summon Blights.
If you say so.
And then get Aloth to kill him. That seems mean. Yeah, it's do the paperwork as in, arrange a character reference, which I have contacted my current supervisor to provide, and then get someone who could certify documents to certify some true copies that I can scan and send. And I wonder if I know anyone who can certify documents. She's busy. She's not getting it. It's fine.
I'm hearing you. I'm ignoring you.
A thin layer of frost sparkles over this store of bread and cabbages. Cold bread. Is she allowed to certify it? We did a bunch of Googling. It seems to be okay. Also, the person from the uni I was talking to on the phone was like, yeah, my grandfather certified all my documents, so I guess it's fine. I don't want to come down and discover the other thing. That would be terrifying. Ramparts of the Abbey. Another way in. You can enter through this place. Location discovered. Giant skeleton's hip. Jeez. Hello, you can certify? That's really cool. There's massive coppery bones encased under the ice, soon to be part of the hips of a giant skeleton. Why? Why is there a giant skeleton here? What does it mean? Unlock with Wave Crested Key. Unlock. Beautiful animation on that door. Very fascinating. 1 second, everybody. I've got a very sad sausage who jumped into her bed and she needs a blanket put on her. Oh, sausage. You're a good girl. I'll tuck you in. Good dog. A giant died here, but it's a really big giant. It's bigger than, like, the eyeless we've been fighting. Low-tide monks and ciphers. An acrid and pungent smell climbs up from the depths of this pit. So they've spotted us. Do I make it? This woman drags her fingers on the wall, cringing whenever a cracked nail scratches the stone. People who've lost their memory. Forgive, goddess. No, it hurts. Make it stop. So we... guys. First off, developers, lazy. Don't do that. That's just ridiculous. These people are suffering mental distress. You touch something and then they attack? That sucks. Pato the doggo. She's a good doggo. Of course I will. Well, sorry everybody. That sucks. Well, I had some fruit. Clumps of moss frozen under a layer of slick and green slime build up between the cut stones. Slick as in Omegaverse slick, or... Sorry.
Well, and if I find something good, you can have half.
Alice is about to die. Rest. Oh, look, a soul. I get to use my dramatic voice when I read the box text. My favorite. Hovering over a skeleton half trapped in ice, a faint trace of essence lingers in the cold air of the cavern. Reach out to the essence. You let your soul envelop the essence. Memories spread memories spread in a thin mist under you, dim and torn, their scattered fragments floating like motes of dust in the twilight. You're walking into an oblong chamber. The stones of its underground walls glisten, still wet from the floodwaters. A hand clasps on your shoulder. You hear her whisper, "Athrek, I don't want to look." The memory vanishes, and now all you see is a slab of stone. You're staring at it, just inches away from the wall. Your fingers trace circles on it, digging into the moss that clings on its withered surface. You're not sure how long you've been touching it. Perhaps you've always been? A scream jolts you. Its echoes thunder throughout the halls. Your ears hurt? A pain that digs deep, burrowing into your head like a twisted dagger. You run. Others run. You don't know them, you can't remember them, but somehow you take comfort in their presence. Yes, they'll help you with the pain, the noise. You'll kill it. The anger of the memory subsides, and now you're sitting down on steps carved on rock. Dozens of skeletons lie below, beneath frozen water. Their jaws hang open, silent. What's that? A low rumble, gargling, growing, deafening. You snap your head to the side in anguish and see it, the water rushing down the halls, pushing you in a torrent of white foam. You fall, your mouth opens to shout, but your screams are muffled as it fills with water. Okay. In the bone pile, Arthek's cord. Properties: Juggernaut. Move speed when you've got high endurance, interrupt rate when your endurance is low. Would go well in Maneha. Okay, so you can flood this place, is essentially what we've just learned.
My thoughts will be as silent as my feet.
Maker, I no doubt about games doing bad shit to be edgy, absolutely. Alright, so, Eloth, see if you can get some kills with your sweet stick.
Me too.
While everyone else... Actually, Aaron, let's just one off. Let's just let him... You can do it. You can do it, buddy. You're a big boy. That's it. Who's a...
These ones are in for a walloping.
Good man, Eloth. That's the one. Why? 16 or 25. We'll get there. We'll just find a bunch of spiderlings to beat up. Hopefully it's not deal more killing blows with this mage weapon, because that would be very sad.
Alright then.
Despite the icy sheen that covers these webs, their threads gently vibrate at the slightest disturbance. Spitters, spitters, spitters. Ah, a cave. Where does this lead? into the cliffs of the Abbey. What's the ways in? Good chat in the background there. That's pretty good. This door is sealed shut. I know it's an artifact of the game.
This is a place of foul memories and festering pain.
Who's there?
Parentis. We'll speak to you in a moment. What was my point? I know it's an artifact of the game itself, not disabling the effect before they died and the models keep the effect on, but it, like, taking that literally, you're like, wow, that's an interesting thing for the game to have. The powers of Lightning Fist stay even after they've died. This door is sealed shut. More low tide people. See if we can look after them. And so Ferentis isn't here. Ferentis, not Firentis, which is a different person. Tufts of downy grey hair sprout from the back of this man's scalp like shrubs. His lower lip curls inward over a row of teeth that appear to have mostly fallen out, and a musty odour hangs about him like a fog.
Is that you, Edith? I thought I'd lost you. I called for you. I wanted to search, but the blizzard lasted days. I'm so sorry.
He extends a hand in gesture of apology, but then the fingers curl, and he draws it back. He squints, as if trying to see you better.
But wait. We did find you. When the thaw finally came, I saw you rigid, frozen. You cannot be Edith. No, we are in the Abbey. Gift bearers. And you must be the tide bringer.
No, I've come here to find something. A reliquary.
Do I imagine this? How can that be? The Abbey does not receive visitors. I suppose it matters little. The tide bringer will come one day, and the terrible cycle will continue. The halls of silence. They take our minds, memory by memory. It would be peaceful, we were told, like going to sleep. Look around you. We, the low tide, who have been sealed down here all these many years, do we seem at peace to you? We are lost, terrified.
Your order attacked me.
Few of us know friend from foe anymore. I may be the only one left who can still speak for us.
Yeah, Luxie, I agree. This sect of Ondra, or perhaps even the entire clergy of Ondra, is fucked up. Don't like it one bit. And if they didn't attack us on sight, I would be wrangling for us to kill them for the shitty things they're doing to people.
They are peaceful in their hearts. It is this place. It has confused and agitated them. Please forgive them.
Oh, that's good. I ought to try that one next time I get nabbed.
Devil. Who are you?
No one has asked me in I don't know how long. Who was I? I was the High Abbot, wasn't it? High Abbot. Ferentis. That was me. Or the one before me, if not. No longer, though. I am just another brother of the low tide. I remember a woman. Was she my wife? She had curls in her hair, and she spoke softly. What became of her? I carry so many memories that I took from strangers who wanted to be rid of them. I don't know what's mine anymore. And there are so many holes. Every image a blur or a void.
It's kind of appropriate that you vaguely remember things in this point, comrade.
This one is lost in the labyrinth of his own mind.
Would that I could be free of this place. Free to make new memories. To know who I am.
What is it that the Tidebringer is meant to do?
The Tidebringer comes to replace the High Abbot. The ritual is called... It is called... The Rising. Yes. We carry so many memories. Tragic or dangerous some. We live above for a time, devoted to Andra. Then we come here to forget it all. Wash our souls clean of the memories. When it is done, a Tidebringer is summoned. Those above, the high tide, they become the low tide. It means they are brought here to the halls of silence. But not before the old low tide are removed, drowned in a flood, and swept away. The Rising.
That's fucked. He did not choose to be here?
Did we? We did. We chose it when we thought it was our duty, and that it would be peaceful. But the more we forget, the less we understand. Every day something familiar becomes strange. If I had known, I'd never have accepted my assignment to the Abbey. Nor would many suspect.
So once again, we have people who are devoted to a cause taken into an organization that hides things from them, lies to them, and makes their lives worse.
He made his choice when he was of sound mind. He's not himself anymore. Better to finish the ritual and release him back to the wheel.
Maneha, I don't know about that. What is it that you want from me?
There is a relic, an aspergillum, it was called. What was it?
He thinks for a while with a pained expression in his mouth, his lips mouthing words.
Well, it doesn't matter. It controls the floodwaters, but also the outer floodgates. Andra's Witness. That is the name. It is down here, but I don't recall how to reach it. The High Abbot knows. If you can find out from him, you could set us free. Open the gates. We would leave in peace and finish our lives in dignity.
Drowning to death. Are you certain it's wise to release the low tide in this condition?
We are all so old now. There is little damage we could do in this state.
I don't know. We had this old fella in Gilded Veil. Looked harmless, couldn't talk. But he'd bite you if you tried to steal his steak when no one was looking.
I don't try and steal his steak, Adair.
Once we are free of this place, we will be able to make memories again.
That sounds good.
Confusion and paranoia will pass.
I'll see what I can do. Current just nods absently.
Use the door behind me. Safer that way.
What's that? We have the opportunity to release the low tide and their confusion will pass? Oh, come on. Sorry. I'm gonna try and stealth, okay? Just so we can avoid harming these people. An acrid and pungent smell climbs up from the depths of this pit. Beyond the door you catch glimpses of shapes in the darkness, wails and whispers, faint and erratic echo from within the sealed halls. The door appears to be barred from the inside. It does not budge. Low-tide paladin there. Low-tide paladin there as well. Damn it. Scouting in fast mode is not a good way to do it. Oh well. Sneaky sneak. Stay there. Someone with good stealth, come over this way.
Yep.
Oh, they spot you really fast. Okay. Between red handprints, a clump of hair dangles from a stain of thick, coagulated blood. Maneha, where are you going? Aleph, go, get him! Give him that walloping you keep threatening. Whoops. Alright, everyone over here, except Aleph. Devil Karok, got a riposte. And got the killing blow. Stealth is not amazing? No, it is not. They see you quickly, and then that happens. What does this lever do? It unlocks a grate. Very lovely.
They shall see nothing while I see much.
Beyond the door, you catch glimpses of... Yeah, it's the same as before. But this one. This door is sealed shut. Different scenes of an ocean shoreline are carved into 4 stone panels, arranged almost haphazardly at different heights along a network of rails. Inspect. The panels are affixed to a set of rails that curve and crisscross in patterns that remind you of seaweed. There are 4 depressions in all behind the rails, in which the panels look like they would fit. The panels show variously a barren shore, a city in flames, a flourishing city, and a tidal wave. Well, let's arrange them. It appears that any panel can be slid into any depression by following the network of rails. Remember what it was? What's the first empty depression? Pretty sure it's the... Yeah, the ones from the front. Exactly, Luxie. Now, the problem is I don't remember perfectly. I think it is actually City in Flames. Oh, alright, Mako, you got a good point. City in Flames. Grab the panel and slide it on the rails into the first available opening. Once the panel matches a recess on the wall, you gently press on it. It slides without resistance and locks into place. Here we go, Flames, and then Flourishing, and then Tidal Wave, and then Barren Shore. Complete the sequence of the last panel, but it will not settle into the final depression. Suddenly the stone sides begin to move on their own and revert to their original positions. Damn it! Alright, maybe it is City, Flourishing City, and then Flames, and then Wave, and Shore. No, it doesn't fit. Barren Shore, Flourishing City, City in Flames, Tidal Wave, nope. Shore, Flourish, Flames, Wave. Shore, Flourish, Flames, Wave. Nope. Right, we're doing it. Of silence. City in Flames, Tidal Wave, Barren Shore, Flourishing City, which actually makes a lot of sense. So you go, it's not in a good state, and then what you do is you put a tidal wave on it, and then everyone dies, but it does get better afterwards. That's what Andra says, right? Kill literally everyone and it comes out okay. You complete the sequence to the last panel. It slides gently into its recess on the wall. The remaining panels retract and lock into place. Behind the heavy stones there is a metallic groan and a steady whir. A small tile about waist high slides back. Beneath there is a carving. It shows an image of an ocean wave called around a crescent moon. I'm pretty sure I'm going to go leave. We can redo that puzzle in a moment. Turbulent murmur echoes faintly from the depths of this chasm. Chasm? Chasm or chasm? Chasm, definitely. Ridiculous question. I want to explore other places. Because I'm pretty sure if we, like, oh, no, I don't think so, actually. We, cast a ritual, and then it will give us an option to, not kill everyone.
Let's see what we got.
There? No, okay. Well, I'm going to try and loot that. Let's not harm these people if we can avoid it. But what I will do is actually save, just in case. Maybe don't kill everyone. I hate that in Windows file systems you can't label files with question marks because I think they're so evocative. I love it. Perform the sign of the tide on the hidden carving. You curl your hand as Kaito had done and position it over the carving of the wave. And using your other hand, you trace the arc of the crescent with your index and little fingers. Heavy rumble stirs the ground, and from all around you comes the sound of rushing water. That's not what we wanted to do. Oh, okay. No, that didn't kill everyone. Alright. Good. That's what we wanted, right? To not kill everyone.
Whew, good thing I sold most of my jewelry.
Cool, like, little magic. Excellent lock. If you're running it as a tabletop question, your party members would have an incredible amount of trouble working it out, I can assure you. Chamber of Tears, 150 experience points. Slime shadows. Embedded in this deep semicircular slab is what looks to be a vessel for a sprinkling of captain yells. Meow wow. Meow. In this context, it looks more like a lever. There are images engraved on the wall behind it, one of a rising wave, one of an open gate. Hey, chat! 1, 2, or 3. Well, essentially 1 or 2, okay? 1. Point the object towards the rising wave. Will likely kill everyone of the low tide. 2. Point the object towards the open gate. Will likely, I'm actually near certain, let everyone out. What would you like to choose? The rising wave essentially kills everyone. We're pretty sure. It, like, Woeese the woe twide. Yeah. But, like, releasing the low tide lets the people who have had their memories taken willingly, but still taken, like, it lets them out on the world. And apparently their memories will return, their confusion will go. Yes, and the rising was a part of the ritual, matches the rising wave. Exactly. But there's also a note to say that they no. You'll notice a lot of times I try and both side the questions, just in case someone in chat is like, no, I actually agree with some of the metaphor in how it's described. But I'm like, on this one, I can't really justify an organization, a religious organization, hides key parts of their doctrine from their participants, and that doctrine involves stealing their personality and memories, and then sacrificing them. Like, that's bullshit. I'm not supporting it. If you all voted 1, we'd do it, but we've got 3 votes for 2. Let's do it. Point the object towards the open gate. In the distance, you hear a mechanical snap of rusted locks and a groan of iron hinges. Comrade, that's a good point. Someone's holding a magic scepter. What? Stop them. Fuck off, Andra gift bearers. Our Brethren, do not harm them. Well, at least they recognize that. Echoing voices reach her ears. The words are unintelligible, but you can make out laughter, crying, and cheers. Soon after, shouts of alarm resonate in the distance. With a click, the machine releases its hold on the strange rod. You pack the vessel away. We got ourselves a new Aspergillium. Always wanted one of those.
Oh, to be a fly on the wall when you reach Stalwart.
I hope Stalwart looks after them. We taught Stalwart well. They're supposed to look after people. Well, yeah. That one is not quite as good as your Saber of the Seas, but it has of resolve and is exceptional and will get even better. So, hey Adair, go try a new shiny sword. Bind your soul. Kill 5 enemies with stealth fast with critical hits to unlock the next level. Well, we'll do our best. Okay. Kind of wish we put that on earlier and noticed, right? Whoopsie doodle. Whoops a daisy do. Big whoopsos. With the double oopsie doopsie. Yeah. Sorry, big fucko. We've made an ongo boingo. So, quest Andra's Witness. Great. What does it do? Where is it? Broken blade, broken blade. You have to give Bearer's chest. Oh, jeez, where are you? So, like, how about none? And it should order by most recent. Andra's Witness. There you go. That's Bajillion. Like, cool description. Not sure what we're going to do with it. Let's keep moving. I think now we get the fuck out of here, right? Back up to the Halls of Presence. You can hear the constant interruption of the emoji. Am I writing a shitpost out loud? I'm reciting a shitpost, absolutely. It's a good one too. It's like how error messages have changed in the advent of custom error message web pages on websites. And a lot of the time they're like jokesy or sorry dude, we've lost the thing you were searching for, we couldn't find it, instead of just 404. Don't know what it is. Fuck off. Like, funny, but not particularly helpful. Well, now, I bet we can go to the top of the Abbey, can't we? Zip, 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 zip. Yeah? No? Oh. I haven't saved good shit. The thing is, I linked good shit at a Discord a little while ago, and they had an overwhelmingly please don't do that a response to me. I have its key. Great, where do I use it? Oh, we got the Aspergillium. Hey. Maybe it's here? No? Maybe we're gonna leave, go to the ramparts, and see if there's another way in further up. Because, like, we're taking a look at the Abbot's quarters. There's nothing up here. This isn't even a door. It's non-interactable. But it is labeled top of the Abbey on the map. Oh, well, we'll figure it out. Let's leave to the Abbey. You absolutely detest the emoji pack shit postings. Oh, God. Sucks to be you. I'm usually so caring, but I just find him hilariously bad. Good shit is the only one I link to people, even though I already know they don't like it, because it's such a non sequitur. It's fun to throw in the middle of nowhere. Like, several group chats just have me saying, you know what we haven't had in a while? It's good shit. It's good shit right there. And, you know, I do the whole thing, but I'm not going to now. It sounds pretty annoying. Halls of Penance, Halls of Penance. There's the Passages of Andro. Okay, okay. You know the ones I mean and they suck. Yep, well, no accounting for my own bad taste. I say that all the time. Yeah. Oh, what? Is that the ramparts again? The reliquary! We found it. Sorry, everyone. I love that there's a full chat of people telling me I'm wrong. I haven't gone so far as to just post it in my own chat just to annoy all of you. That doesn't seem as funny. You know, like, that's just me. Ah, cool. Alright, good night, Maker. Sleep tight. Okay, we'll catch you in the woods, alright? If there's anything cool to see there. You're actually about to see something very fucking cool as we walk past this Vale of Tears. So if you're not up for it right now, which you don't have to be, I suggest you rest up, come back, check the VODs for a real cool scene. VODs get my eternal appreciation for charging through our story, even in a way where they can't interact with the plot. It's worth it. Alright, what's this? I don't know, we touch it and then something happens! Because we're holding the aspergillium. Ah, there's a skull. A skull with an interactable. This is the thing I think about whenever I think of The White March Part 2. This dialogue. That happens.
I used to have this big hound. I could dig for bones. Well, he'd be real excited right about now.
Not that dialogue, but that's pretty good. The cracks on this jawbone suggest that a forceful blow separated it from its skull. Judging by the distance of the nearby skull, a tremendous force severed this vertebrae from the rest of its giant body. The structure behind the giant rib cage appears to have been built around it. Yeah, chest. Exceptional scale armor. Lovely. Strange crystal formation of this rock, intact even after their collision against the thick bones of this giant skull, it seemed to radiate with a warmth of its own. Here we go. Alright? I don't like pillars just for the combat. The combat is like useful, interesting enough. It's fun playing different classes to see how they turn about. But it's this shit that I like. Lodged between rows of crystalline rock, a large fragment of metal protrudes. It looks as though it might be possible to pry it loose. Pull out the metal fragment. At your touch, the splinter of metal begins to glow orange. Heat surges up your hands and arms and envelops you with such intensity you feel as though you are melting down. The heat spreads to the world around you. It turns it orange and then yellow and then white. The ground, the sky, everything around you drips in molten globs and begins to take shape beneath you as if in an invisible mold. You and the shard are the last things to melt and fall, and your addition to the molten pool completes the shape of an immense hammer. The metal cools as quickly as it had heated. The handle is gripped now by two great leathery hands. The hammer is cocked back over its shoulders, broad and mottled as a hilltop. The hammer whirls around and the wielder whirls around and heaves the hammer, and you're flying upward for what seems like ages into the airless blackness above. As you spin, you catch glimpses of a rock large enough to be a moon. It is close, far too close to the world. The force of the impact shatters hammer and stone alike. The rock is redirected outward, but a section of the front face is cleaved off and begins to fall, splintering apart to the cracks. In 100,000 fragments blossoming outward in all directions, debris showers the atmosphere, trailing smoke and fire. Below, land and sea are far off, but gradually rising up. Look to the sea. The largest of the fragments, as wide as a city, barrels downward in a fiery cocoon. Its size reduces as the edges immolate, but won't burn up in time. It lands silently in the distant ocean, sending a column of water skyward and radiating ripples that spread like wrinkles in fabric. And the sound comes tearing up through the sky. It sounds like thunder. Look to the land. Features are becoming clearer by the moment you streak towards the earth. You are lodged in an enormous boulder, falling among other smaller fragments that heat and burst all around you on all sides. Beneath you, snow-capped mountains rise up, dotted here and there by cities of stone and adra. The impact will be the destruction of all of them. The shadow of your rock fragment is visible now, getting larger by the second. You are moments away from striking the ground when a massive shape throws itself into your path. The last thing you hear sounds like another rumbling impact, but that isn't what it is. It's a chuckle, relieved, breathless. You hear two words. Made it. Everything goes dark. You open your eyes. The metal hammer fragment has come free, and you now hold it in your hands. It is warm to the touch. The air around you is suddenly turbulent, spiteful. A cold, damp wind whips your face. Salt crystals collect in your nostrils and the creases of your eyes. The floor below you becomes blue, grey, and glassy, churning and rolling, and when you fall, you crash through water. Violent waves hurl and spin you. Something slithers around your ankles, seizes you with incredible strength, and drags you down into the silty depths. When the pulling stops, you are hovering at the center of an endless blue abyss. You can neither see surface nor floor. You seem to be facing downward, but there is no way to be sure. A voice sounds from everywhere at once, and the immense pressure wave of each utterance sends you reeling.
Deceitful wretch! Grave robber! You who dig for that which you did not bury. Speak! Explain yourself and be judged.
You want to tell off Andra for the shit her cult did? Good thing we've got an opportunity now. One, two, three, four, or five, chat. 1. I seek a means of defeating an army that threatens my lands. Honest. 2. I meant no harm. I came in search of answers. Diplomatic. 3. I do only what I must to survive. If I am to be judged for it, then so be it. 4. You were calling wretch, wench. Passionate. And 5. I was looking for the privy. I mean, we've all peed in the ocean, right? Maybe 5 is the most appropriate. It's up to you to decide. Comrade, exactly right. You want to tell off pretty much all of the gods. All of the divinities in the setting, because they're all shitty. And yeah, they're all bad, because divinities generally are bad. Probably 1. Another 1 from a Hendo. Sounds good to me. You're not super enamored of any of the options. Yeah, I know, Luxie. I did actually get that one. But I'm also going with, like, Comrade's continued discussion that pretty much all the divinities are bad. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I'll probably pick 1 in just a moment. Let's go to last minute vote. Another 1 from Emma. Sounds good to me. I seek a means of defeating an army that threatens my lands.
You seek what is mine, what was rightfully lost.
The outburst propels you, sending you end over end.
Your actions speak for themselves. The battery opened, the forge ignited. You set free souls that hid from me, that stole from me and evaded my judgment. The dwarves sealed their own fate. The forge was meant to be forgotten.
You and forgetting, Andra.
And now, here you are again, denying peace to the buried.
The turbulence around you calms. Silt settles like a slow exhalation, and the vast, dark seascape beyond the murk fades in. Rays of light trickle down from far above onto green-gold columns of kelp that rise from the depths and sway back and forth in the current. Fish and mollusks patrol them in groups of hundreds and thousands. The nearest pass you with watchful eyes. I'm pretty sure we get to ask all of these questions in turn, so I won't yell out to everyone what we're going to do, but I'd like to ask, and I'm going to start with 1. What do you mean the forge is meant to be forgotten?
It was never meant for mortal use. Such power, such truths lie within it. It can bring only ruin. When the Pargrunin came to the White March, they were peaceful. They shared common beliefs and purpose. Their visions for the forge tore them apart. You have seen this for yourself. They would have destroyed themselves in the end.
How convenient that we'll never know.
You need only look to the history of your own civilization for assurance. How many wars, how many fallen empires might have been averted if only their leaders could forget the objects of their ambition. I mourned the loss of the Pargrunin. Misfortune brought them here. They did not deserve to end so soon.
That's true. You've got a point there, Andra. Also, like, how many wars, how many fallen empires might have been averted if only their leaders could forget the objects of their ambition. Yeah, leaders being obsessed with ambition can cause ruin to people, but forgetting it entirely? It's very much in her purview as Andra. But is that really the only solution? What does it matter if something is remembered or forgotten? It's in the past in either case. Like, I don't know if Slam needs to say it, but if it's dialogue we're going to get out of this divinity, let's do it.
Memories are the spirits of the past. You of all people should know their sway on the present, Watcher.
Great, more spirits.
Mortals measure the worth of their lives in memory. Who will remember me? How long until I am forgotten? Memory governs every thought, informs every choice. It can fuel passion, understanding, love, or it can create obsession, madness. You have seen it plague many souls in your travels. Consider the old Watcher who inherited unspeakable crimes from birth.
What if Maywald could forget the awful things his soul did before he even existed?
Or the young woman who committed herself to Brackenbury for love of things she remembered she had. Or the Glonfathen boy for whom an old medallion was worth more than all the fruits of his labors.
Andra Comrade's got a good point. And it's not just how little progress would be made if we forgot all our ambitions. But as a divinity of the forgetting, like, you're obsessed with it, right? But we recognize that the solution you're using, the tool you're holding, everything looks like a nail to you, because you're holding a hammer. And as Luxie said, we just saw the burden of memory removal.
Or the former Crucible Knight, whose political embarrassment embittered him against the organization whose ideals he treasured above all.
He's just a dick, though.
They could be free from their burdens, if only they could forget.
Hey chat, this doesn't affect the story of the game, but it does affect the story of Slam Shadows. What does he respond here? 1, their problems go deeper than memory. Simply forgetting does not make them go away. Or 2, their burdens exist for a reason. Why should they be allowed to forget? Or 3, if only it was so easy. 3 is a bit wishy-washy, that's okay. Snap 1. Yeah. Luxie and Conrad's got a good vote on this one. Certainly agree with it myself. Uh, 2 from Deadman. Nice to see you again. If we hammer 1, we may accidentally skip some dialogue. We're going to give it a few more seconds, but otherwise hit 1. I feel bad for everyone who is like in chat. Ooh, 1 from Hendo, very good. We've got a convincing lead. Let's press number 1 and see what happens.
For some, perhaps. But for many, the memory is all that remains of it.
Just kind of brushing over the idea that we're like, actually, other people remember as well. It's like, whatever.
The fires of Cold Morn died long ago, yet vengeance still burns in this construct's mind. What is vengeance but a fire fueled by memory that consumes the soul?
That is true.
A fun way to kill time.
Ooh, devil, very good. Also, you'll notice that means our companions are in this dialogue as well. We're not talking to a soul or a spirit. We're underwater. We're talking to Andra, and all of us are here.
Cold Morn is not but a memory now. If it no longer intruded on her thoughts, no longer haunted her dreams, she could live a life of her choosing.
Hey chat, 1, 2, or 3. She's endured things that no one should have to remember. And 2, Cold Morn is part of her identity now. It gives her purpose. And 3, I shudder to think what that might entail. In this one, you've got to, like, the third option, which in the previous one just seemed to be like brushing off the question. Here, number 3 is like I shudder to think what that might entail. Is really just implying that the method of removing memory could be bad. And given we've already seen it, you're like, oh, I don't know if I like it either way. 1 is like, well, maybe she could have freedom. And the Devil of Korok could be free of the memories of Cold Morn, and then her town would not have been burnt to death. And 2 is like, yeah, but taking it away is bad. It's part of her identity. It gives her purpose. Gives her purpose is also like, yeah, but should she really be defined? Is that purpose entirely hers? From one bad thing? I mean, it's kind of how the devil is working, but still. I'll also note that, like, yeah, Lexi, you got a good point. Option 4, that's her choice. Luckily, I'm happy to tell you that Andre will not rewrite memories of our companions on a dialogue choice here. The stakes are not that high. Troogs, good to see you tonight. We're up for a vote. We got 2 votes for 2. I think I will press 2 unless we get multiple objections in the next little bit of time, okay? Because I want to keep this dialogue going. It's long, and we got 15 minutes before the end of tonight's session, you know? And then this actually doesn't finish the DLC. There's just a little bit more after. A little bit more. Or not, but you don't want to make any of those statements and you disagree with them all. Sure.
So often do we confuse memory with identity.
I press 2.
But memory is who we believe we were, not who we actually are.
Really, Andra?
She would have a different identity now, a more peaceful existence, if she could forget what led her down this path.
Explicitly, she would have a different identity, Audra. In a different existence. Would it be more peaceful? That's not something you can say.
But I would lose my favorite conversation starter.
I love Devil, right? How good is that? The light filtering down from the surface seems to focus on Maneha.
Would your life not have a better course, Amawa, if the faults of another lifetime were not dragging you down?
I used to think so. But turning your back on something doesn't make it go away.
That's interesting too, right? I like that if it feels now, like when we convinced Maneha to not lose that memory, she didn't just say, I'll do what you said, and took our decision as, okay, we make the decisions for her. It really feels with this dialogue that we convinced her and she's internalized that in that time. And now she really does believe this. And that's good. That feels better than us saying we have put our decision on this character and they just have to live with it.
Just makes it easier for someone to stick a knife in your spine.
So sassy indeed, Hendo.
The source of those wounds is long gone. The memory was all that could do you harm.
1, 2, or 3, everybody. But a lot of combat, right? Not a lot of choices for everyone. Now we're gonna load all these chat interaction, sorry VODs, at the end of the episode here. So, 1, 2, or 3. I would leave my own memories behind if I could, but they haunt me whether or not I remember them. 2, there was value in the memory despite the harm. And 3, responsibility runs deeper than memory. Oh, that's good. 3 from a dead man. 3 perhaps from Loxy, and a 2 from Comrade. A 2 from Hendo. We are now tied up. A 2 for 3 and 2 for 2. Which is, good fun. We like that. And another vote for 3. That's very good. We'll have a few more seconds before I hit the 3 button. Loxy, oh no, tied up? Oh my. Nothing wrong with having a good tie on a Monday night. And let's select number 3.
Responsibility is another word for guilt. For those who have made amends or were born with the burdens of others, should they not be free?
Responsibility is another word for guilt? Oh, I don't know about that.
Even when problems have run their course, memory can be the stone that sinks you into the abyss.
Did everyone look at the dialogue options and go, stat choice? Yes, please, don't mind if I do, because generally that's one of our rules. We use our stats. We made Slam Shadows together. Slam Shadows can press intellect. That's the thing he does. Even when problems are run their course, memory can be the stone that sinks you into the abyss. 1. Intellect 17. Be that as it may, I must reject your mortal paradigm because it engenders an incomplete conception of the good that fails to consider the importance of testing the soul. 2. You made your point. Well, 3. I'm still not sure I agree, but no matter. I reject your mortal paradigm. In this essay I will. I mean, you're exactly right, Emma.
Not mortal.
More. Oh. Holy shit, it says moral paradigm and not mortal. Yeah. No comment. We'll talk to each other at the end of the game. Anyway, stats. Let's press 1.
Indeed. And what has led you to conclude you know better than a god, mortal?
We're going to do it again. If we're telling her for divinity, we're going to continue doing it. Also, interesting that Andra is known as feminine and does not have an aspect that is agender or masculine, like some of the other divinities. And here they're referring to themselves as God, and that's fine. Honestly, I prefer calling agender or genderless, or even groups of divine beings, divinities, as opposed to gods and goddesses, because, you know, there are genderless and gender fluid divinities, damn it. So, it's like 17. Your supposition that peace of mind is tantamount to the overall good is a flawed premise. Empirically, we know that struggle and inner turmoil strengthen the soul as often as they strangle it.
That hardly sounds like an improvement on inner peace. Is that the extent of your argument?
Yes, that's all. I want to ask about something else. No, like, that sounds good. Let's go 1. Intellect 17 again. No. Actually, I submit to you that life is a framework to test the soul, and that an untested soul withers from disuse. Consequently, it is better to test the soul in order that it should thrive. If it breaks, is no worse off than if it were not tested at all. But 2's got a very utilitarian and almost Zahua-esque if we do not struggle, do we grow mindset. And I don't think I agree with that in the real world. But to get, like, Watsonian about it, sorry, Doylists, we do exist in a video game. We've got proof that struggling and fighting increases your experience, makes you stronger. Okay, let's use the intellect, right? Just so we can continue talking down Andra. Exactly, comrade. I don't love the conclusion here, right? But I do want to tell Andra off. I wish at some point we could have, like, number 2, where we're just like, yeah, cram walnuts. Very good. Alright, number 1, even if we don't totally love it.
Your reasoning is interesting, mortal. Perhaps there is something to it. But it is not my will to simply do good.
Why did I not call a vote? Because I wanted you to see that. This divinity is not, it's not in their will to simply do good. And that may influence everything that's done in her name. Probably would, right?
Those broken souls that fail your test. Those are the ones I love most. For no other god will have them.
Selfish indeed, comrade.
What small mercies they ask of me, I will always grant. Was there something else, mortal?
We can go back to our main line of questioning. Oh yeah, what are the bones of the one gods doing sealed in the temple of another?
Do not play coy with a god, Watcher. I know you have seen his death. I feel it whenever a forgotten thing is taken from me.
Okay, so what the fuck is that? Okay, it has been like a week between each episode. That's fair. We're standing on Abaddon's corpse. Because Abaddon died. And was like, well, shit, I'm not letting that happen again. And built himself a metal body. We actually watched it.
Abidin did not deserve to die here. This place, it was the least I could do to give his remains some privacy.
Privacy, because it's hidden. It's forgotten. The least you could do?
The least I could do for ending his life.
Light drains from your surroundings. The kelp forest becomes a copse of black tendrils, stark and twisted as regret.
I called the moon down to me, Ione Bravo. It was against his wishes. He would not listen to reason, would not listen to me. In his madness, he splintered the moon. But it was not enough. The greatest of the fragments still fell toward that which he would protect. In the end, he took position where it would fall, and absorbed the impact himself.
So the divinities are also against one another at times. They disagree and let those disagreements fall upon the earth. Have consequences. Well, fall upon Aora. I thought Belarfa and Caldwa were the moons.
Ione Brother is their smallest sibling, tiny next to them.
Good call, comrade. Hey, everyone in VOD, scroll back up and check comrade. It's text. Small enough that the world would survive its impact. But why the temple? Why the secrecy?
That time has been forgotten now. And so his death belongs to me. Everything he was before the impact.
Everything he was before the impact? But you slew another god. Surely the other gods know this. Surely Abaddon must know. Current surges through the kelp bed, pushing each plant sideways like saplings in a hurricane and propelling you backward amidst a torrent of wayward fish.
No! He cannot know! He must never know! Understand, he was not always as he is now. His body was not all he left behind. He was devoted to progress and industry from the beginning. But so too was he devoted to preservation. In those times he would let nothing go. Nothing could be forgotten. His will was iron long before his body.
Preservation. So that's why he went so far to oppose you.
We agreed long ago, all of us, not to alter the course of Kith's civilization. Not directly. Not unless there were no other choice. But in this matter, there was no other choice. He understood that as well as anyone. It was for duty that he opposed it. I would have stopped it if I could, but by then it was too late.
What was it he was trying to preserve?
Time has finished much of what I started. I cannot tell you that, mortal, for fear of undoing all its costly work.
She can't tell you what he was trying to preserve because she's forgotten. You make it sound as though you were the sane one.
The other gods knew what had to be done, but they lacked the will to go through with it. Even gods have their attachments. To erase all knowledge of such a grand thing required unthinkable devastation. The Eastern Reach, Deadfire. Mine was the only solution.
Sit her biscuits down. Very good.
When I called down Ione Brother, they remained silent. Even Abaddon. He knew it was for the best. But he tried to stop it all the same. Perhaps deep down I knew he would. I should have expected it. I could have stopped it.
Oh, actually, that's a good point, comrade. She remembers, she tells you, she can't stop her from being remembered by others. Yeah, I mean, the most simple and destructive method of removing memory would be like, she could just squash us now, right? But she's telling us things, letting us know things and understand things, and can't squash us. That's interesting. I want to ask you about something else.
You may ask.
Why did you pull down Ione Bratha?
The great conundrum of a god is how close to become with your subjects. Too far and they lose hope. Too close and your own judgment fails.
I guess dropping a rock on their hands is one way to fix that.
Good job, Devil.
Civilizations are meant to ebb and flow. Allow them to persist for too long in power or knowledge, and you invite catastrophe.
Fuck off.
There was a time when we let our sympathies get the better of us. When memories were allowed to persist that should have been washed away.
Good night, Emma.
The other gods could not be moved to act. I did what had to be done without them.
You're talking about the Inquithans.
I speak of what is forgotten. I failed that day, but my purpose was achieved in the end. I will not dredge up the memory to satisfy idle curiosity.
Just want to check something. You're
The
in
great
Bratha.
there was the other gods.
You were
could
too
not
close
be
to a
moved
civilization?
act.
Which do you speak of?
I speak of what is forgotten. I failed that day, but my purpose was achieved in the end. I will not dredge up the memory to satisfy idle
We had enough lore to
curiosity.
identify this civilization. That's enough. The army that destroyed the dwarves, the Eyeless. Are they yours?
What the world casts aside, I take into my care. A thing may be forgotten, but it is never alone as long as I am here.
Larksy, the Inquithans are not forgotten, but there is a very important thing that is. And we learn it in-game. Not now. I'm being a massive fucking tease. We will learn it.
They were lost children, abandoned, fixed on a purpose that no longer had meaning. I took them in, gave them new purpose. I did not create them, but yes, they are mine.
They are Abaddon's. I saw them forged.
They were his once, I won't deny it. He created them as assistants to carry out his work on Aora. But he has long been the overseer of progress in the world. Leaving things behind has always been his way. I allow him to leave his past in my care, so that it does not hold him back.
You and Abaddon have a unique connection then.
I suppose we do. But then, the gods have always been able to accomplish far greater things when working together.
Nearby you see a shark pass through a school of fish. The fish scatter, evading the predator. There's something else to discuss about the Eyeless.
Speak your mind.
You haven't given me the whole truth about the Eyeless, have you?
Careful what you accuse a god of, mortal.
The water around you is suddenly icy. You can feel it sap the heat from your veins. Abaddon didn't abandon these creatures. You made him forget them. Otherwise he might remember how he died.
And what if I did, mortal? It does him no harm to forget. On the contrary, it lifts a burden. If Abaddon remembered, it would threaten the harmony between the gods.
Ah, you don't have to face consequences if you can make the people you harmed forget you harmed them.
It was not so long ago that conflict between us led to disaster in your world, and the death of one of our number.
That is a hell of a reveal.
Memory is but an image we create to make sense of the present. It carries no truth or meaning but what we ascribe.
She just skated over the fact that, sure, we did know that Magran priests helped blow up Aethys, but we did not know that Magran explicitly was part of conflict between the divinities.
A slight alteration to it is a small price to pay for peace.
Fantastic. Comrade, my arms, as long as they are not long enough to convey the depth of the jerk-off motion in my soul. Beautiful. Beautiful. I'm actually going to choose It's Wrong to Deceive Him. I expected better from a god. And we're jumping along because it is 10:02. We've got to finish this dialogue.
Memory deceives. It distorts. It reimagines. This is no different. The peace between the gods is already fragile. It will not withstand another shock. Speak your mind.
What new purpose did you give the Eyeless?
Some things that are forgotten must never be remembered. Not merely for the benefit of those who forgot, but for the entire world. There can be no second thoughts, no sympathy or stays of execution. The Eyeless were born to fulfill this task, though even their creator did not know it. They are single-minded and relentless.
Do you mean they kill those who remember what you want forgotten?
They do not flinch when called upon to do what is necessary. Kith owe them a great debt for the troubles they have hidden away.
Massive assassins with two giant hammers on their hands to smack people into forgetting things.
You may ask.
Perception 12. You say on one hand you had to call down Ione Brata, yet on the other that you would have stopped it for Abaddon.
The death of a god is a calamity. You are living in the aftermath of one such death. Surely you can understand.
You have said that sympathy can't get in the way. What about yours for Abaddon?
He deserved better. Of all the other gods, he was the only one who acted, who held to his convictions.
The goddess of relentlessness must have appreciated such a quality.
Yes. I admired him for that.
But it's more than that. You loved him. The push and pull of the current becomes long and heavy like a sigh.
Whatever he was to me, it was not meant to last. Always our duty is to Aora first.
Duty to Aora first.
I knew he opposed what I intended. That he would wish to preserve what I meant to destroy. I knew it would cause a rift that might never be mended. But I never imagined he'd go so far. I never imagined it would mean I would never know him as I once did.
If he doesn't remember dying, why not begin again with him?
Because it might cause him to remember. No, mortal. Better that we should exist as we are now. What happened once must never happen again. Bad enough that I am cursed to remember it. You may ask.
I need you to call off the eyeless.
On the contrary, mortal, their work must continue. Far too much was uncovered while they lay dormant.
The goddess of relentlessness. They draw attention to the very things you wish hidden. In my dreams I've seen them swarming over the Deerwood.
Those who know too much of the White Forge will be washed clean from Aora. And then the island shall rest once more.
This isn't some lone tribe of dwarves. The Forge sees visitors from all over now. The eyeless will tear the Deerwood apart. It will never be forgotten. The sea life around you stirs back and forth, agitated, restless.
Even if it is as you say, there is nothing that can be done.
Really?
The eyeless do not think for themselves. They have only the purpose that is given to them. They do not stop until the purpose is fulfilled.
Oh, comrade, sorry about that. Worst time for ads, you're totally right.
They will not change course now for me or anyone. I am sorry.
This was your doing. You must intervene.
The interventions of gods seldom work out in anyone's favor. Our touch is too heavy. The world crumbles beneath it. It is why we so often enlist the help of mortals. They execute our wishes with greater care. I have done far too much already.
Kato said they could be called off.
Only if those they pursue are no longer a threat. The raid Sarens were stopped before they could take the White Forge. In your case, Watcher, you are well beyond that now. And if what you say is true, then the Deerwood is as well.
If you won't stop them, then I will.
Your determination is commendable. But the eyeless number in the thousands. You will need more than strength or luck.
The help of a god would be most welcome.
I will give you what aid I can. I bade the eyeless to remain hidden when at rest. They are gathered in the hollow of a great rock, splintered from Ione Bravo.
Comrade,
It lies in a flooded crater known as Kairin's Scar.
Comrade's watching an ad, or maybe it's finished, where beyond our usual time. I would love to vote, but I actually made a Jimbles fiat. It's very important to get her help. So I went with diplomatic, because we also had the trait that would allow that to actually work. Gathered in a hollow of a great rock, splintered from Ione Brata.
Know, too, that they were built to answer the call of their master's hammer. When they hear it strike, they come to its aid.
Hey, comrade. Slowly scrolling through, so you can see the dialogue. I know you've played it before, but you know. There you go.
If you were to take that piece of his hammer from here and reshape it in Abaddon's forge into a likeness of the original, you might be able to call them to you. But destroying them would be another matter.
Call them to us.
I know of one way, but only from the center of the Lion's Den. Only with their master's hammer in your service. If you can do all this, if you can reshape what remains of Abaddon's hammer and bring it inside their lair, I can instruct you there on what you would need to do.
It would be easier if you just told me now.
Nothing I say will make sense until you see it for yourself, mortal. We share a common purpose now. I will see you through it when the time comes.
Everyone please take a look at option 7 and have a little giggle. Forget this, the alias aren't my problem. Someone else can handle it. We're not selecting that, because it's very funny. I want to know, if you select 7, or if you don't finish the DLC, you start White March 2 but you don't finish it, when you finish the game, all of the ending slides are replaced with, good job, you defeated end boss. Good thing happens. And then the eyeless come and kill literally everyone. Good job, buddy. I think that's fucking hilarious. Dude, your prophetic visions told you. You need to deal with it. Whoops. I will remake the hammer in the White Forge and stop the eyeless.
If you do not, be assured, they will come for you as they did for the Pargrunen.
An uneasy turbulence disturbs the calm like an unwelcome thought.
Careful as you approach the lake. When I claimed the eyeless, I made sure they would not be discovered while they slept.
That's very you, Andra.
Many of my most devoted followers stand watch there. They will not allow you near. And there is something far worse. Something more fearsome and dangerous than any eyeless.
I was just thinking.
Hope you do not attract its attention.
I was just thinking this all sounded too easy. In place of an answer, a sudden surge in the current from beneath sends you hurtling upward. The surface above you approaches fast, shifting and glimmering like quicksilver. You emerge soaking wet on the stone floor of the reliquary, gasping for breath as if you've been holding it for hours. The quest completed. The Rising Tide. White March Part 2. Lair of the Eyeless. Recreate Abaddon's hammer. You have enough metal to make a kit-sized version of the original. Where would we do that? Well, the White Forge. Well, thanks for sticking with me 11 minutes past our regular end time tonight. We've saved the game. I'm going to go to the menu, and we'll say goodnight. Yeah, so Triggs, exactly right. You could see it as if you choose the wrong option on that one, the world ends. I also still think the game lets you say, fuck it, it's not my problem. And then you can, like, she goes, alright, whatever, if you don't, you're going to die. And then you can still pick up the hammer and still do the quest, you know? I have no issue with the game signposting the, if you do this, you will die, and it will hurt the whole time you're dying, and then allow you to make the bad choice, you know? Yeah, you actually have to also not do the quest, which, you know, is good. It's good. It also, pretty sure, like, we can accept the quest, and now go do the rest of the game that's unlocked. Up until the point of no return, come back, deal with it, and then do it, you know? There are good ways to make it work. They at least took the least bad option. Most of the time. And yeah, I agree, Comrade. The eyeless are a gun. You know, they do one thing. They were taken from Abaddon, who created them, and was like, all right, that's good. I'm going to continue doing other stuff. And because he forges, that's his thing. And then picked up and reused by a different divinity for a pretty shitty end. We don't agree with Andra, which is why she's such a great antagonist here, just causing trouble. Right? We're having a conversation, and not to talk too much past endpoint of the night, but this is why I like divinities as things to complain at and rage at. Because we had a conversation with someone that we can't attack. We have a villain and an antagonist we can't solve by stabbing. My player characters can't draw their weapons and interrupt my monologue. We must have a conversation with them. And while that's more annoying on the tabletop, because you're forcing your players, no, fucking listen to me, jerks. Here in a video game, it's fantastic to have someone that you must talk to, who is, yes, exactly, Larksy, is as flawed as the mortals they're claiming to protect, have their own motives that are hard to understand, but interesting, and is willing to, not concede a point. Andra straight up did not say, actually, you're right, never mind. But she did say, alright, here's how to fix it. Good luck. It's interesting. And I love these big dramatic moments, these parts in the story where I'm like, okay, so just pay attention. We're going to have dialogue, we're going to talk to a divinity for the next 15, 20 minutes. And it's the parts of the game that I remember so strongly. It's beautiful. It's just beautiful. And I love that we've got the shitty person that everyone in chat is like, Andre, you gigantic wet jerk. What the fuck? And we get to spend 20 minutes from that perspective where we do not agree with her. And that's cool. We're all on the same page. I bet a lot of nearly all players are on the same page too. That must feel really great. Interesting writing, in my opinion. Anyway, let's finish up tonight. We will finish the White March Part 2 next week, next Monday. Tomorrow night, I want to point you towards False Security, who does gaming streams on Tuesday nights, and that will be good fun. And on Wednesday night, I'll be back with Final Fantasy 2, where we maybe fuck around too much, if I don't fuck around too much, but we may finish Final Fantasy 2 as well. The walkthrough says we're pretty close, that's all. So that would be great. Well, I mean, we're about to unlock the ultimate magic, so we've even met the Emperor and been trapped in his dungeon for a bit of time, so, rising tension pretty close. Fucking around is mandatory. Oh, yeah. You've known me very well. Thanks very much for joining me live if you're here, and thanks very much to everyone in the VOD, even Maker, who may be indulging in the VODs to see how the dialogue with Andra went. And I look forward to her telling us all about how Andra's a giant jerk. That'll be good fun. And I'll see you again next time. Thanks. Good night.